It's Thursday, November 13th. Today, the outrage after the Parole Board of Canada decision to grant the statutory release of a notorious convicted killer. A crackdown pays off. How many people were denied a ride after failing to pay their transit fare? And later, the real thing or digital copies, the rise of AI in the entertainment industry. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It's Thursday morning, 6 a.m. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. And Ainsley McPhail's going to have all your Grey Cup coverage this morning. She's going to talk to some super fans, all kinds of people who are excited about the game on Sunday, who are coming in from Saskatchewan or Montreal.
I was going to say, where's she going to find them here in Winnipeg?
Well, they're on their way. So we're going to find out more about what's happening and some of the Grey Cup activities that are really exciting. You'll want to stay tuned for that.
Yeah. You know where she'd find a big fan? Our camera guy.
Oh,
Carrie.
Yeah. Huge.
He's dripping in green this morning. No, but you bet he will be for the big game.
You know what else is dripping in color? The sky last night. It was lit up again.
Did you see it again?
I did.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, our audio guy as well. He's like, oh, I went outside to check it out. They were incredible. I still have not seen them, unfortunately, except for thanks to your photos. I've actually seen them around the entire province from every corner. Thanks for sending those pictures in. As far as the conditions go, yes, it is very clear, so some stargazing or northern light gazing. It's been optimal conditions for that. -2 right now with winds out of the west, 17 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 89%. Clear conditions once again through the southern half of the province. Northern Manitoba, a few more clouds, but as I said, I'm still getting the Northern Lights photos from folks throughout the province, right up into northern Manitoba. So they're shining through those clouds. As far as the conditions go today, it'll actually be quite similar to yesterday. Very, very clear throughout central and southern Manitoba. The few extra clouds lingering across the north. You might get some breaks in those clouds later on today. We'll actually start to see these clouds moving in through central Manitoba later on this afternoon. Overnight, we might see a few more moving through. Tomorrow, here's a look at northern Manitoba. Plenty of snow. It looks like it's going to be settling in. Now, there will be some folks that see more of that mixed precipitation. The temperatures tomorrow are expected to be quite mild. This is first thing in the morning. We'll likely see those clouds building up throughout the day. There might be a bit of shower activity passing through parts of southern Manitoba, but on the cloudier side through the afternoon on Friday, back to the sunshine for the weekend. Now, Friday is the day that the temperatures really spike, although even today, well above seasonal, headed up to a high of 6 degrees. But double digits still expected for tomorrow, and then we will drop off a little bit. But these temperatures are actually going to remain above seasonal when -1 is actually normal for this time of year.
Thank you, Terry. There's shock and anger over news a notorious convicted killer is being allowed to reintegrate into society to finish the remaining years of his sentence. Sean Lamb was sentenced in 2013 after pleading guilty to killing 2 women. He's now being granted statutory release. And a warning, some of the details in this story may be disturbing. In November 2013, Lamb was sentenced to 20 years in prison, -2 years for time served, after pleading guilty to 2 counts of manslaughter. It came after Lamb confessed to police in June 2012 to beating Carolyn Sinclair to death with an axe and strangling Lorna Blacksmith weeks later with a TV cord. Police heard both women were killed in his apartment after smoking crack cocaine. The women's remains were later found wrapped in plastic in back alleys. Lamb has served 2/3 of his 20-year sentence. By law, someone is entitled to statutory release unless they are considered likely to commit an offense causing death or serious harm, serious drug offenses, or a sexual offense involving a child before their sentence expires. A Parole Board of Canada decision issued November 6th approved Lamb's statutory release. Conditions include living at an approved community-based residential or psychiatric facility for the first 6 months. For the remainder of his sentence, Lamb is prohibited from consuming drugs or drinking alcohol and cannot communicate with people who are or may be involved with criminal activity. He also must report all sexual and non-sexual relationships, including attempts, to his parole officer. The board warns Lamb presents a high imminent risk of violence toward a partner. The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs is outraged by the decision, saying families learned of Lam's parole status through the media. AMC's Grand Chief is calling for the decision to be re-examined, saying, quote, "The parole board's decision not only re-traumatizes victims' loved ones, but also erodes public confidence in a justice system that already fails First Nations women far too often." MKO Grand Chief Garrison Settee is calling for a review of statutory release provisions for violent offenders, saying this decision is a painful reminder of the ongoing crisis of violence against Indigenous women and girls. More reaction can be found at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. The City of Winnipeg says a crackdown on bus fare evasion is paying off. Numbers released Wednesday show thousands of people were denied a ride and hundreds of others paid when they were asked to do so. As CTV's Jeff Keel shows you now, Transat says it's losing millions of dollars a year because of free rides.
Ronald Woods is a regular bus rider. He says most people pay their fare, but not everyone.
They just say they don't have the fare right now.
He says despite not paying, they usually get to ride anyway.
The bus drivers basically just let that go, I think. Yeah, they don't make a big stink about it, I don't think.
Transat estimates they're losing between $7 and $10 million a year because of fare evasion, but that could be changing.
It's a lot of lost revenue, and we're trying to fix that.
The city announced a crackdown in September with police, transit safety officers, and inspectors. Since then, there have been more than 4,900 denied rides. More than 2,670 people walked away before being prompted to pay. There were 931 warnings, and 359 riders paid after they were asked to. Police have also been patrolling the transit system and made 9 criminal code arrests.
It's astounding how many criminal charges have been laid. It's astounding how many people have been stopped from getting on the bus.
The union representing drivers says 90% of assaults are related to conflicts over unpaid fares. They say the extra enforcement is starting to pay off.
And our members are starting to feel a little bit safer knowing that they're out there. And, you know, it's going to have a residual effect of more people are going to feel safer on the bus, and the more people are going to start taking the bus again.
While the crackdown will continue, Public Works Committee Chair Janice Lukes does want people to know the cops and the safety officers won't be heavy-handed with all fare evaders.
You know, obviously, if it's a mom with kids that, you know, has their hands full, or if it's a senior or whatever the situation, they use discretion.
The city is also planning a fare payment campaign. It will include bus, bench, shelter, and digital ads. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A man is recovering after Mounties say he was accidentally shot by a hunter in southern Manitoba. The 66-year-old man called for help from his home in the arm of Victoria Tuesday morning. He was taken to a hospital with a gunshot wound to his arm and released later that same day. Mounties later caught up with and arrested a group of 3 teenagers who were out hunting. A 14-year-old female and 2 males, aged 16 and 17, are charged with careless use of a firearm, discharge of a firearm while being reckless, and assault with a weapon. The 14 and 16-year-olds are also charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand sat down with her U.S. counterpart Marco Rubio Wednesday. But when asked by reporters, Anand said the two did not discuss restarting trade talks between the two countries.
As Foreign Minister, my responsibility is to represent Canada on the world stage on these and other issues. That's exactly what I did, and I'm respectful of my colleagues' portfolios, one of whom is Dominic LeBlanc, whose role it is to cover Canada-U.S. trade.
Anand's comments come as G7 foreign ministers wrapped up talks in Ontario discussing a wide range of global issues. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history is officially over.
The yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed.
Wednesday evening, the House approved a funding bill. The historic 43-day shutdown has impacted federal workers who haven't been paid, leaving travelers stranded at airports and families lined up at food banks. Donald Trump has just signed the bill to end the shutdown and reopen the government. As the holiday season nears, a familiar sight is going up in front of City Hall. The City of Winnipeg began installing its artificial Christmas tree Wednesday on Main Street. The massive tree features lights and decorations with the annual tree lighting ceremony planned for Monday. You'll be able to watch that happen live on CTV News at 6. Here's what's happening now in traffic at Confusion Corner. It's a good start to the Thursday morning. No issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see problems out there, though, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who is going to tell us all about Grey Cup and the excitement building up in our city. Good morning.
Yesterday, Rochelle, good morning. You said, you look really excited. I said, I am. I grew up watching Canadian football. I love it so much. We got here and Kenny goes, wow, look at the activations. This is going to be really good for the kids. And I thought to myself, yeah, the kids. This is free stuff that you guys can come and enjoy. And Grey Cup is really a celebration of all 9 teams. It's not just our Bombers. You can really interact with folks from all over Canada. Coming up at 6:44, we're chatting with Bombers President and CEO Wade Miller. I don't know what to ask him, Rochelle. I might sound a little bit sour that we've got our riders coming here. Speaking of the riders, it's funny. There's a band from the riders. They're leaving from Saskatchewan at 7 a.m. 7:44, we have them on our show. Maybe they're going to be playing from the bus, which I just find so darn hilarious. So stay tuned for that.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go. Thank you, Ainsley. We'll check in a little later. We're going to go to Terry on the rooftop now. Nope, we're going to actually tell you about a bee study, and it's a really interesting study. In fact, a new study has found bumblebees can process time. This is the first evidence of such an ability in insects. The research found bumblebees can process the duration of flashes of light and use that information to decide where to look for food. Scientists say this discovery could help settle a debate on whether insects are able to process complex patterns. They made this discovery by setting up a maze for bees to travel in with 2 different light cues. One would lead them to a sweet food they liked, and the other to something bitter they don't like. All right, this is what's happening outside right now at Portage Avenue at Polo Park. Things are looking pretty good on our streets this morning. We'll be back after this short break.
Magical sights and sounds are coming to downtown Winnipeg. It's time for the Manitoba Hydro Santa Claus Parade. Stream it live November 15th at 5 p.m. on ctvwinnipeg.ca. Brought to you by Manitoba Hydro.
Good morning. Some Manitoba municipalities are renewing calls to reduce the role police play in responding to mental health calls. This comes as rural and northern communities deal with ongoing staff shortages and a rise in mental health calls. The Manitoba government committed to an extensive review of the Mental Health Act a year ago after families and advocates pressed for changes in how wellness calls are handled. Current legislation states peace officers are the only people able to detain someone experiencing a mental health crisis. Data from Manitoba RCMP shows from 2022 to 2024, officers spent an average of 659 hours per month waiting or escorting patients to hospitals or mental health facilities. Crown prosecutors in Saskatchewan have decided not to appeal a Manitoba judge's decision to stay sexual assault charges against former fashion mogul Peter Nygard. A spokesperson for Saskatchewan's public prosecutions says after careful review, the organization determined an appeal would not be appropriate in the case. A judge ruled last month the charges were to be stayed after Nygard's lawyer filed an application citing missing documentation. Notes from 1993 police interviews are no longer available and were presumed to have been purged due to the passage of time. Saskatchewan prosecutors say the criminal code only allows for Crown appeals due to legal errors. Nygard is still facing sex charges in other jurisdictions. New scrutiny over the relationship between Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. 20,000 pages of documents from the convicted sex offender's estate were made public Wednesday, including emails that mentioned Donald Trump. CTV's Joy Malbin reports.
The private emails are straight from convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein discussing his relationship with Donald Trump. In 2011, 3 years after Epstein pleaded guilty to sex crimes involving a minor in Florida, he wrote to his now convicted partner Ghislaine Maxwell, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He was never once mentioned, police chief, etc." Maxwell responded, "I've been thinking about that." That victim, Republicans say, was Virginia Giuffre, who said she never witnessed wrongdoing by Trump. In her memoir, she described being recruited from Trump's Mar-a-Lago club by Ghislaine Maxwell and trafficked to rich and powerful men, including the former Prince Andrew. In 2019, while President Trump was running for re-election, Epstein wrote author Michael Wolff, taking issue with Trump's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his club, alleging Trump knew about Epstein's illegal behavior. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Maxwell, who's reportedly applying for clemency, told the president's lawyer in July she never saw Trump at Epstein's home.
I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
Tonight, the president lashed out on Truth Social, calling it all a Democratic hoax, as a bipartisan group of lawmakers push for all of the highly sensitive Epstein records to be made public.
Police in Calgary say a family finally has some answers in a missing persons cold case that began more than 50 years ago.
Anna was reported missing in August of 1966 after she was last seen boarding a bus from Calgary.
2 years later, some items belonging to Anna Sylvia Just were found in the Nevada desert. Last year, Calgary investigators were able to track down her 97-year-old sister.
One of the first things she says to them is like, "Are you here because of Sylvia?" So that's 50 years that she's been waiting to hear.
Police got a DNA sample from her, which matched human remains discovered in 1970 in Nevada, but were never identified. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is defending his leadership style after 2 MPs left his caucus.
Is to continue to lead and be the only leader in the country that's fighting for an affordable Canada, where our people who work hard can afford a home and food. That is my agenda.
This comes after Nova Scotia MP Chris D'Entremont crossed the floor to join the Liberals, and Alberta's Matt Jeneroux announced his resignation. When asked if the departures prompted reflection, Poilievre answered no. He told reporters in Calgary he will continue to focus on what he calls fighting for an affordable Canada. New numbers show Canadian travelers are keeping their distance from the United States. In October, the number of Canadians who returned by car from the U.S. fell to 1.4 million, down more than 30% from the same period last year. And Canadians coming home by air dropped almost 25%. Experts say trade tensions and a weak Canadian dollar are behind the decline. If you see heightened military activity around 17 Wing today, don't be alarmed. An emergency response exercise is happening at the site. Starting at 8 this morning, the base will conduct a simulation of a natural disaster. We're told military and civilian emergency vehicles will be coming and going from the base, and people with simulated injuries will be a part of the exercise. It's all part of ongoing efforts to maintain readiness. The exercise is expected to run until 8 p.m. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. York is closed between Edmonton and Carleton for Grey Cup festivities. The westbound lanes on Kernaghan are also closed from Plessis to Hoka. And the median lanes on Corden Avenue between Lindsay and Renfrew will be closing following the morning rush. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share in traffic, please text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
All right, a look now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Another clear and gorgeous start to your day with above seasonal temperatures. Taking a look around the province right now, we're just below the freezing mark by a few degrees, but a normal low would be -9, and all of us are well above that. The closest that we're seeing right now is Brandon, coming in at -7. Here in Winnipeg, we're at -3. Most people are a couple to a few degrees below the freezing mark, and then there's Gimli, right at 0 degrees this morning. Up into northern Manitoba, and this is where there's a few extra clouds. Most of southern Manitoba and central Manitoba are quite clear this morning. A few extra clouds across the north, though, and your temperatures, again, a few to a fistful of degrees below the freezing mark, but it will be a mild day right up into northern Manitoba again. Sure, you'll deal with those extra clouds, maybe a little bit of scattered precipitation once again. Here in the south, remaining clear, and that's going to set us up for all of the sunshine throughout the day today. Of course, it has to rise. That'll be happening at about 7:38 this morning. As the temperatures rise through the day, it will be very pleasant once again. Probably still below the freezing mark as kids get settled into the classroom, but lunchtime 4 degrees and up to 6 by the time they're heading home from school today. Just for a reference point, -1, that's a normal daytime high. And instead, we're looking at plus digits pretty much as far as we can see. We've got this real spike 6 today, up to 12 for tomorrow. Heavier clouds starting to move in, and then we will be dropping off, but still remaining on the plus side of freezing right up until middle of the week, when we could be seeing our next round of precipitation. Another stunning night of northern lights, in this particular photo captured in the ebb and flow area. Thanks to Jennifer for this, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful, helping your home get holiday ready with blinds from Hunter Douglas.
When you give a child a winter coat, you're giving a child the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside. When you give a child a winter coat, you're giving them the freedom to create warm winter memories, because no child should be freezing cold. Kids should be able to go outside and have fun. Donate to Coats for Kids. Drop off new or gently used winter wear at these participating businesses. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
The WSO has an upcoming show that's about to draw you in with an invisible touch. This weekend, the orchestra will be performing the music of Phil Collins and Genesis. Prepare yourself for a unique experience at the Centennial Concert Hall Saturday. The orchestra will be joined by rock band Gravel Music Museum Music and the Horizon Choir to bring the iconic band's songs to life. They'll perform hits such as In the Air Tonight, Against All Odds, and Invisible Touch, reimagined for full symphony orchestra. The Prairie Skies lit up Tuesday and Wednesday nights with one of the most incredible Northern Lights shows in recent memory. CTV's Daniel Homerson has more on the celestial spectacle.
Swirls of pink and red danced alongside swaths of green and blue across the night sky Tuesday as the Northern Lights put on a show for the ages.
My husband's from northern Manitoba and have seen the green ones quite a few times, but never seen anything pink like that. It was phenomenal.
I knew it was going to be a good night because it was clear skies here in Manitoba, so I just, after sunset, made my way out to one of my favorite spots.
Videographer Anthony Urso captured the celestial event in this stunning time-lapse video taken a little north of Winnipeg. Urso says these types of shots take patience and some practice, but the payoff can be extraordinary.
There's essentially nothing more that I'm passionate about than going out and just capturing the beauty of this world.
And the kaleidoscope of color left even the most experienced stargazers in awe.
Oh man, the sky was just covered from horizon to horizon, and the red. I've never seen red that bright before in 40 years of sky watching. It's just intense.
The Manitoba Museum's Scott Young describes aurora borealis as a solar storm when charged particles from the sun collide with gases in the Earth's atmosphere.
The speed of the wind and the intensity of the wind is what determines how bright it is and how colorful it is. And last night we had like a force 10 hurricane of solar wind, basically.
Young says that's why the reds and pinks were so visible to the naked eye Tuesday.
There's often red in aurora, but it's very hard to see, especially from inside the city, because our eyes aren't very red sensitive, and it's just not the brighter part. Sometimes we'll see green or maybe just gray.
And those looking towards the skies are hoping another stunning show is on its way.
The colors I've seen last night are world class. The only time I've ever seen that was back in the 70s in the Yukon when I was working in the mountains.
Daniel Homerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Clear out there this morning and below the freezing mark, so just a couple degrees. -3 is where we're sitting. -9, though, I'll remind you that would be a normal low, and we are still well above that, even though we're sitting here in the dark. We've got winds out of the west, 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 90%. That sun will be up, and we'll see plenty of it today. 7:38 is when it officially rises this morning, but with these clear conditions, we'll be seeing the day glow well in advance of that. Further up into the north, you can see the extra clouds. With those clouds, there may be a little bit of light snow once again, or snow that could change to a mixed precipitation. Temperatures even across northern Manitoba will be climbing well above seasonal. You saw how beautiful a day it was yesterday. We're going to do it all over again. Maybe even less in the way of a breeze. Those winds should remain quite light today, but 6 degrees is where we're headed. Plenty of sunshine expected. Absolutely beautiful. And then the conditions still fairly clear overnight. We might start to see just a few clouds, but staying in the plus digits this coming night with winds out of the west, still at about 20 kilometers per hour. That's the wind speed we can expect for tomorrow, so fairly pleasant with the breeze and 12 degrees, soaring temperatures. We will start to see more clouds, though, especially into the afternoon. It'll start to become a little more overcast and then clearing out by the weekend. The temperatures will be dropping off, though. So Friday is the day that the mercury spikes, but that's the day we won't be seeing as much sunshine. When the sunshine is back, these temperatures still staying above the seasonal -1.
The city is considering giving a discount to those who pay their property taxes early. A motion making its way through City Hall would see a 2.4% discount given to businesses and homeowners who pay their property taxes during January and February. The Public Service says the money would be used in short-term investments, providing the city with a slight boost in revenue. If approved, it would start in the new year. Separately, the city is also looking to lower the penalty for late payments on business and property taxes. It would mean the compounded tax penalty rate would drop from 41% to 34%, or 2.5% a month. It comes after the city realized its bylaws weren't in line with recently changed federal regulations, which were supposed to take effect at the beginning of the year. It means some 14,000 people who paid a tax penalty this year would see a refund. Both tax motions will appear before the Executive Policy Committee on Tuesday. Mounties are asking for your help as they investigate another arson at a business in southern Manitoba. This time, the arsonist was successful. 2 weeks ago, we told you RCMP were investigating after someone drove a forklift loaded with jerry cans filled with diesel fuel through a business's door and attempted to set it on fire. This happened on October 10th at a property on Road 6 West in the RM of Morris. Early Friday morning, RCMP were called back to the property, finding the same building engulfed in flames. Investigators believe it was deliberate, and anyone with information is asked to contact Morris RCMP or Crime Stoppers. RCMP had made a significant seizure of cocaine from a residence in Thompson, and now 2 people are facing charges. Mounties seized approximately 4.5 kilograms of cocaine from a residence on Riverside Drive November 4th. The search warrant was executed as part of an ongoing drug investigation. RCMP also seized a large amount of Canadian currency, ammunition, several firearm magazines, and Rolex watches. A 27-year-old man and 35-year-old woman, both from Thompson, have been arrested and charged with numerous offenses. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be in BC today to announce the second round of major projects.
50% of global nickel comes from Indonesia. The Chinese own 75% of those mines. We have to disrupt their stranglehold of the supply chain.
CTV News has learned projects on the list being put on the fast track include Sillisim's LNG facility in BC, a hydroelectric project in Iqaluit, the Sis-In mine in New Brunswick, and the Crawford Nickel mine in Northern Ontario. Similar to the first phase, these projects are already in development. As for that pipeline Alberta has been pushing for, there's no word on that right now.
We've heard a lot from the federal government, I would say, in terms of, nice sentiments around bringing investment back. We haven't seen that happen yet.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is said to still be in talks with Ottawa. There is the possibility they could sign a memorandum of understanding by Sunday's Grey Cup. Above average temperatures this week have prompted a Winnipeg golf course to open up tee times. The warm weather is helping to heat up the lead up to the 112th Grey Cup, allowing football and golf fanatics to soak up the sun. CTV's Joseph Bernacki reports.
The strike of a 5-wood connecting with a golf ball in November is a rare Manitoba sound. That's why some golfers at Shooters Family Golf Center took the chance to hit the links this late in the year.
I've never even considered golfing in November before. Usually I'm playing hockey already, so to be able to golf in late November is pretty special.
Kyle Calder loves to swing the irons. He played 63 rounds of golf this year. So when he heard Shooters was reopening this week, he quickly drove in from Beausejour.
I immediately got ready to get over here as quick as I could, kind of thing. It's been really nice that it's been an extended season.
Calder wasn't the only golfer this afternoon on the range. Dick Mulholland says he was delighted to book an afternoon tee time. During the golf season, he comes here 4 to 5 times a week.
November the 12th.
Beautiful day. Love the game. I mean, just favorite pastime, especially having the sun out. Bright and sunny today makes it nice and warm.
Temperatures Wednesday afternoon rose above 6 degrees, well above the normal this time of year of -1. And golf won't be the only sport to benefit from the warm weather. Officials from Environment Canada say we can expect an above-seasonal lead-up to the Grey Cup.
It's quite a bit above normal for the next couple of days here. It's looking like maybe 10 or 11 degrees for the high on Friday for Winnipeg.
Colangelo says temperatures should return closer to normal for Grey Cup Sunday, with an expected high of +1. Still, the early heat is creating a buzz amongst former players and CFL analysts.
Winnipeg this time of year, I mean, we'll see some people up there with some flip-flops on.
Blue Bomber veteran Milt Stegall says fans can expect a heated match between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Montreal Alouettes, especially if the good weather holds.
You don't want the elements to come into play. You want it to be all based on the talent and execution, so I think it's a good thing.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Here's a look at what's happening at Main and Broadway. It looks good here, but we do have a traffic note to share with you. A fire has closed William Avenue between Juno and Kate Streets. William is expected to remain closed throughout the morning. If you have any other traffic tips to share, please text them to us at 10400. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.35. The provincial average is lower at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29, and the lowest price in the city is $1.18. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we're talking Grey Cup. Kenny and Ainsley are having fun at the University of Winnipeg in the Snap Zone. Stay with us for an interview with Wade Miller.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
All right, it's beautiful and pretty balmy out here. For this time of year, typical lows would be around -9. We're a few degrees below the freezing mark, but only that. -3 is where we begin with clear conditions out here this morning. The breeze is on the lighter side, 15 clicks out of the west. The pressure is falling, humidity sitting at 90%. Once again, it's going to be another beautiful sunny day with these well above seasonal temperatures carrying us right through the rest of the week. It's very similar to yesterday is what we can expect today, getting up to about 6 degrees. But all of the sunshine will be through central and southern Manitoba once again with very similar cloud patterns to what we were seeing yesterday and the day before, where specifically northeastern Manitoba stays blanketed by those heavier clouds and could again see some scattered precipitation, maybe starting in flurry form, but as it warms, a mix of precipitation through parts of the northeast. Here in the south, yes, lots of sunshine, 6 degrees today, but then it's getting even warmer tomorrow as a few more clouds move in. All right, we're going to check in with Ainsley McPhail now, see what's going on out on location. Hey, Ainsley.
Hi, Terry. Good morning. We're at Grey Cup Fan Fest, and Wade Miller, president and CEO of the Bombers, was nice enough to join us this morning so early. Thanks for being here, Wade.
Happy to be here.
So what was your first reaction when you saw this fan area?
You know, it was great. The TELUS CFL fan experience started yesterday with kids from different schools coming during the day and the Canada Life Family Zone. So these are two of the free activities that you can take a part of on the campus here at the U of W Recplex. And then right outside is the Wawanisa Street Festival. And this is going Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. And then Friday night, outside on the front lawn, a great fireworks show at 7:30. That's free as well. So great opportunity to come down, bring the kids, bring the big kids. It's for everybody, and it's just great football drills and skills, and you get the opportunity to see what it's like to be a football player.
And when you talk about the future of football, a lot of those conversations tend to happen this time of year and with the kids around. So what is your hope for the future of football in our Canadian game?
Well, it's football in Canada is growing. Football in Manitoba is growing. Flag football is expanding. It's now an Olympic sport. We started a girls' high school flag league 2 years ago. This year we'll have over 40 teams playing in it. So it's just a massive explosion of kids playing flag football and tackle.
Bomber, people are traveling from near and far to be here, but we've got some of the best fans in the CFL right at home. What does it mean to them, do you think, to be able to have this in our backyard?
Well, a Grey Cup Festival brings people, as you said, from across the country, but allows Manitobans, Winnipeggers to just show off, you know, how we like to have fun. And it's Canada's biggest social, and, you know, all the, the concert series, all of those are sold out already. So there's also the opportunity for 18 plus to go to the TDS Outdoor Social, which is at the Convention Center, and that's free of charge as well. But it's just going to be a massive weekend of a ton of fun for people from across the country and for everybody in the city.
Okay, thank you so much, Wade. We really appreciate it. Any Rider fans watching right now on their way here for the weekend? Drive safe.
Looking at the early markets, the Dow Jones fell lower overnight. The Nasdaq and S&P index are also down. The loonie is trading higher at 71.5 cents U.S. The Hang Seng added 150 points. The Nikkei index gained 218. Good morning. It is 6:46. A chance encounter Monday led police to arrest a man in connection to a months-long string of thefts at CF Polo Park Shopping Center. Police came across a man suffering from a medical incident while at an unrelated call at a home in the 200 block of Furby Street. They soon realized that man had 9 outstanding arrest warrants and was allegedly behind several thefts at the mall between May and October. The total value of the pilfered goods was in excess of $20,000. A 23-year-old man is now facing nearly 30 charges, mostly for theft under $5,000, along with identity fraud and failure to comply. A new study by Baycrest, the University of Toronto, and York University is looking at how subtle cues in speech can indicate brain health. The hope is it may someday allow for earlier detection of diseases like dementia. CTV's Pauline Chen has the details.
How was that new movie you saw last night? It was, sorry, what was I saying? Right, yes, the movie, it was good. The one with the actor, what's his name? You know, this is an example of the kind of conversation being analyzed by the researchers. The speaker struggles to find the right words.
So one thing is just speech rate. People slow down, and there's also pausing and fillers like and putting all that together, it turns out to be quite a sensitive index of mental capacity.
The study is one of the first to show a direct link between casual speech patterns and essential cognitive functions. More than 200 adult participants were asked to describe complex pictures while also completing standard tests of executive function. Baycrest senior scientist Jed Melser used AI to help analyze recordings of what they said.
We're very interested in speech as a marker of cognitive health because there are a lot of applications for which we want to study cognitive decline.
Unlike drug testing, which is difficult to repeat frequently over time, he says
speech is a promising alternative because it's sensitive to changes in brain health.
Researchers hope this will eventually become an easy and accurate way to track cognitive decline in both normal aging as well as diseases like dementia.
People often ask me, should I do crossword puzzles? Should I learn a language? And I say those things help, but not nearly as much as a bit of physical exercise. That's probably the number one thing you can do for your brain.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A 22-year-old man from the arm of Stanley is dead after a fatal rollover yesterday. It happened around 6:45 Tuesday morning. The vehicle rolled over on Highway 14 between Road 19 and 20 West. When officers arrived, they were met by the Winkler Fire Department, who told them the driver was dead. An investigation determined the man was driving a truck eastbound on Highway 14 when it slid into the oncoming lane. The truck then veered back before striking multiple trees and rolling into the ditch on the south side of the road. The man was the sole occupant of the vehicle and was found outside of the truck. Hamilton police say a man accused of stealing a bus with passengers inside took the job pretty seriously.
And was looking to board the bus at the time and was turned away because their pass was invalid. It comes off comically, but at the same time, it is a really serious matter.
This happened on Tuesday night. According to police, the bus driver got off the bus to take a break. The suspect then allegedly hopped on and took the bus for a joyride. He was making the stops and letting people on and off. The ride lasted around 15 minutes until officers caught up with the bus. The suspect is facing 4 charges, including theft and driving while prohibited. A woman being chased by police in California made a break from Mexico and actually made it. Police say the driver stole a van from a sober living home, then led police on a 240-kilometer chase to the border. Reports say the van has been found in Tijuana. The driver remains on the loose. A fire has closed William Avenue between Juno and Kate Streets. York is closed between Edmonton and Carleton for Grey Cup festivities. The westbound lanes on Kernahan are also closed from Plessis to Hoka. If you have any other traffic tips to share or updates, please let us know by texting them.
Beautiful outside this morning. It's -3 and very clear to kick off your morning with winds out of the west, 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 90%. Those clear conditions will set us up for all the sunshine you could ask for later on today. 7:38 is when it officially begins to rise, but with these clear conditions, we'll start to see a bit of day glow just in advance of it. Not necessarily the case across parts of northern Manitoba. Heavier clouds, and with those clouds, you might again see a little bit of precipitation. -4 your expected high up in Churchill. Most of the northeast will likely stay just below the freezing mark, but only just by a degree or two. A little more sunshine over in Thompson, and anyone further to the west of that will likely see a little bit more of that sunshine. Norway House area along this very western border, there will be a few more clouds building up. But again, these temperatures quite pleasant for this time of year and above what you would expect. Here in southern Manitoba, soaring several degrees above the seasonal -1. And yes, plenty of sunshine through the central and southern half of the province. Once we're looking further into the southeast, it's going to be another gorgeous day. 6 degrees expected here in Winnipeg, similar temperatures all through the south. And yesterday, northwestern Ontario was just a few degrees behind us. Today, things are warming up a little more so there as well. Warming up even more so for tomorrow. That's the day that we could hit double digits. Heavier clouds are expected to be moving in into the afternoon. And then on the other side of that, for the weekend, we will get the sunshine back again, but the temperatures will be slipping off a little bit, but still remaining above the freezing mark when -1 is normal for this time of year.
Thanks, Terry. Increasing numbers of actors are forming partnerships with AI companies. Matthew McConaughey is the latest actor who's agreed to have a digital version of his voice created. ABC's Sophie Flay reports.
It's Matthew McConaughey's signature line.
All right, all right, all right.
But the next time you hear it, it may not be McConaughey saying it. The Oscar winner now signing a deal with AI software company 11 Labs to produce a virtual replica of his voice.
I think Matthew McConaughey's involvement is really the biggest that we've seen of a living celebrity in something like this.
He's not the only one.
I am thrilled to announce that my voice and I are joining 11 Labs. Try it for yourself today.
You may recognize that voice as Oscar winner Michael Caine. Except that wasn't him. It was his 11 Labs replica. The company now launching what it calls the Iconic Voice Marketplace, a platform where creators can request access to celebrity voices, from Caine to Liza Minnelli to even long-gone stars like Judy Garland. But it's not a free-for-all. Users submit requests that must be approved by the rights holders before projects can move forward. Still, many worry the AI revolution will put voice actors out of work.
On the one hand, if an actor has given their consent, this is their name, image, and likeness that is portrayed in the most authentic way, which I think is the cinematic experience that we all want. However, it could come at the cost of other jobs.
While some stars are licensing their voices, others are being built from scratch. Poet Talisha Nikki Jones has created an AI R&B singer named Zanaya Monet, a digital alter ego that lets her turn her poetry into music. Now, Zanaya has a #1 single on a Billboard R&B chart, and a multi-million-dollar offer for a recording deal. And on the country charts, an AI-generated country singer named Breaking Rust just hit #1.
Not everyone's cheering. Some fans of Zanaya say they felt misled after learning she was not human. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
The U.S. is saying bye to the penny.
3, 2, 1. Okay. Done. All right. Yeah, that's one.
The U.S. Treasurer visited the Philadelphia Mint yesterday for the pressing of the final circulating penny. This brings an end to 232 years of penny production south of the border. Stopping penny production is expected to save about $56 million a year. Canada, of course, stopped producing the penny in 2012 and took it out of circulation in 2013.
All right, welcoming a busy guy to the show this morning. Milt Stegall joining us this morning in advance, of course, Grey Cup. So I know your plate is stacked, so thank you so much for taking time for me today, because even more exciting, I think, than Grey Cup is the final deadline tonight in the HSC Millionaire Lottery.
Yeah, good to be here. Good to hear from you. But as you mentioned, this is it. The final deadline is midnight tonight. If you want to have your opportunity to be Manitoba's next millionaire, this is it. We're going to make that announcement November the 26th. And I know some people will say, well, I never win. Well, you can't win if you're not in it. Someone's going to be Manitoba's next millionaire. And for you to have that opportunity, you got to get your tickets before midnight tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, there's that big grand prize of, you know, being $1 million or getting $1 million either in a home or straight up cash. But there's a lot of other great prizes as well. I mean, we talked earlier on about Grey Cup tickets that are up to grabs these days, or many Manitoba local prizes. Anything on that list that stands out to you?
Well, all the local prizes. But of course, it's the $1.25 million cash. You know, that can do so much for so many. There's some great homes in there. We've had individuals in the past who have taken the homes, but the cash is always great. But as we always talk about, you win a prize, you don't win a prize. The ultimate prize you're going to win because you know you're helping out the Health Sciences Center, and we know there's so many throughout Manitoba who are going to need their services now and for years to come.
And of course, that's the biggest win of all, right, is improving our healthcare system, keeping those dollars here at home. Why is it? I mean, you talk about, like, you're wanting to give back, but really that's why you're a part of this campaign, isn't it?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. The Health Sciences Center, they provide great services. If you ever get an opportunity to go down there and go on a tour or just go online and see all the great things they do for so many, it's some special individuals, some special resources, special doctors, special nurses. I mean, the things they do, not many hospitals across the world, not only Canada, but across the world, providing the service they provide. So as we always say, those services aren't free, they aren't cheap. Takes a lot of money, so that's why we do this millionaire lottery, so they can continue providing those great services.
That's right. So of course, as we've been talking about, the deadline tonight at midnight, that's your last chance to purchase your ticket, maybe be Manitoba's newest millionaire. Go online and check it out, hscmillionaire.com.
We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Thursday, November 13th. Today, convicted killer granted release. Anger and shock as Sean Lamb, who killed 2 women, is cleared to re-enter society under strict parole conditions. Plus, fare crackdown. Winnipeg's transit crackdown is paying off, with thousands denied rides and fare evasion numbers dropping. And bagging history. The world's first ever Birkin sells for over $10 million and is heading to Japan for display. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba, to 7 o'clock on your Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. And coming up at 7:52 in our Community Connection, we're going to tell you about an organization called Canadian Immigrant Professional Alliance, or CIPA. Basically what they do is when newcomers come, and they're professional newcomers, they help them get established, they help them find some mentors and help them find their way so that they can get a job in their fields. So we're going to delve into that a little bit more and find out exactly what started the whole thing and how it's working.
Nice.
But the weather, what a dream.
It has been incredible.
Glorious weather.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of people are loving it, especially with all of the outdoor events that are taking place this weekend. Ooh, we saw it yesterday. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. That sky is so stunning. So I was just alluding to the gorgeous weather that will continue into the weekend. It's not going to be quite as spectacular as what we're going to get, say, today or tomorrow, but it will still be quite pleasant. Back to this moment right now, looking so stunning out there. It's -3, winds out of the west are 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 90%. I mentioned we'd probably see that day glow well in advance of the sun rising just because the conditions are so very clear. So just for an example, we're still about 35 minutes away or more. It's about 37 minutes away from that sun officially rising, but to be seeing how gorgeous it's looking out there, that's all due to these clear conditions. Not the case through parts of northern Manitoba. With the clouds, there might be a little bit of activity with the flurries you can see in the far northeast. This is where the clouds will linger again today, staying quite clear through central and southern Manitoba. Even overnight, there might be just a few clouds moving in, but overall, today will be beautiful and sunny. We are likely to see a little bit more cloud cover for tomorrow, and then a lot more precipitation for tomorrow across much of northern Manitoba. You can see all of the flurries or the mixed precipitation, as it will be one of the milder days that we're expecting. With the clouds, there's a possibility of some scattered precipitation to be passing through parts of southern Manitoba, especially through central Manitoba and maybe areas just off to the east of us. With those heavier clouds, though, come double-digit temperatures, and then it will be dropping off as the sunshine returns and we see things clearing out for the coming weekend. But even as the temperatures drop off, we're still remaining above seasonal, plus digits through the weekend and into next week when -1 is normal for this time of year. And thank you to Olivia, who sent in the poppies. Absolutely stunning work that you've done here, and we'd love to see more of the art. So keep it coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
There's shock and anger over news a notorious convicted killer is being allowed to reintegrate into society to finish the remaining years of his sentence. Sean Lamb was sentenced in 2013 after pleading guilty to killing 2 women. He's now being granted statutory release, and a warning some of the details in this story may be disturbing. In November 2013, Lamb was sentenced to 20 years in prison minus 2 years for time served after pleading guilty to 2 counts of manslaughter. It came after Lamb confessed to police in June 2012 to beating Carolyn Sinclair to death with an axe and strangling Lorna Blacksmith weeks later with a TV cord. Police heard both women were killed in his apartment after smoking crack cocaine. The women's remains were later found wrapped in plastic in back alleys. Lamb has served 2/3 of his 20-year sentence. By law, someone is entitled to statutory release unless they are considered likely to commit an offense causing death or serious harm, serious drug offenses, or a sexual offense involving a child before their sentence expires. A Parole Board of Canada decision issued November 6th approved Lamb's statutory release. Conditions include living at an approved community-based residential or psychiatric facility for the first 6 months. For the remainder of his sentence, Lamb is prohibited from consuming drugs or drinking alcohol and cannot communicate with people who are or may be involved with criminal activity. He also must report all sexual and non-sexual relationships, including attempts, to his parole officer. The board warns Lamb presents a high imminent risk of violence toward a partner. The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs is outraged by the decision, saying families learned of Lamb's parole status through the media. AMC's Grand Chief is calling for the decision to be re-examined, saying, quote, "The parole board's decision not only re-traumatizes victims' loved ones, but also erodes public confidence in a justice system that already fails First Nations women far too often." MKO Grand Chief Garrison Settee is calling for a review of statutory release provisions for violent offenders, saying this decision is a painful reminder of the ongoing crisis of violence against Indigenous women and girls. More reaction can be found at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Crown prosecutors in Saskatchewan have decided not to appeal a Manitoba judge's decision to stay sexual assault charges against former fashion mogul Peter Nygard. A spokesperson for Saskatchewan's public prosecutions says after careful review, the organization determined an appeal would not be appropriate in the case. A judge ruled last month the charges were to be stayed after Nygard's lawyer filed an application citing missing documentation. Notes from 1993 police interviews are no longer available and were presumed to have been purged due to the passage of time. Saskatchewan prosecutors say the criminal code only allows for Crown appeals due to legal errors. Nygard is still facing sex charges in other jurisdictions. The City of Winnipeg says a crackdown on bus fare evasion is paying off. Numbers released Wednesday show thousands of people were denied a ride and hundreds of others paid when they were asked to do so.
It's a lot of lost revenue, and we're trying to fix that.
In fact, lost revenue for the transit system due to fare evasion is estimated at between $7 and $10 million a year. To address that, the city announced a crackdown in September with police, transit safety officers, and inspectors. Since then, there have been more than 4,900 denied rides, more than 2,670 people walked away before being prompted to pay. There were 931 warnings, and 359 riders paid after they were asked to. Police have also been patrolling the transit system and made 9 criminal code arrests. The union representing transit drivers says 90% of assaults are related to conflicts over unpaid fares. They say extra enforcement is making a difference.
Our members are starting to feel a little bit safer knowing that they're out there. And, you know, it's going to have a residual effect of more people are going to feel safer on the bus, and the more people are going to start taking the bus again.
While the crackdown will continue, Public Works Committee Chair Janice Loops does want people to know those enforcing payment rules won't be heavy-handed with all fare evaders. Can't afford a new Birkin bag? Try buying used. Not this one, though. It costs more than $10 million. This is the first ever Birkin bag, custom made by Hermes for actress Jane Birkin during the 1980s. It was bought at auction this year by a company in Japan. The bag will be put on display later this month. Here's what's happening in traffic along the Norwood Bridge. Things are moving well here, but there is a traffic note to tell you about. William Avenue is closed between Juno and Kate due to a fire. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, please text them to us.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Prime Minister Mark Carney will name a major electricity transmission line in British Columbia to his list of nation-building projects eligible to be fast-tracked, according to people familiar with the matter. The North Coast Transmission Line, or NCTL, is a top priority for BC Premier David Eby and is aimed at unlocking resource projects in the remote region and connecting them to sources of clean power. A second project expected to be announced is the Crawford Nickel Project based near Timmins, Ontario. The Crawford deposit on Highway 655 near the Highway 11 intersection is one of the largest nickel deposits in the world. It would have a mine ore production capacity of 240,000 tons a day and a mill ore input capacity of 120,000 tons. The project would operate for about 41 years. President Trump signed a government funding package at the White House late Wednesday, formally ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The bill was passed by the House and Senate this week, bringing an end to a stalemate that gripped Capitol Hill and the country for 43 days, with the final outcome falling largely along party lines. The end of the shutdown has fueled gains on the TSX, and many businesses here are waiting to see backlogs cleared at customs and flights returning to normal, but that may take a few weeks. And Michael Burry, the provocative fund manager whose bets against the housing market were chronicled in The Big Short, appears to be closing his hedge fund. A securities filing shows. A filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission shows the registration status of Scion Asset Management, which has as of March, had a $154 million worth of assets under management, was terminated on Monday. Registration is required for funds worth over $100 million. Burry hasn't directly addressed the closure, but he has flagged on his increasingly active social media account that he will be onto much better things on November 25th. As he also chided the media for overstating how much he spent on a put contract on AI software company Palantir Technologies, saying it was $9.2 million, not $912. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about Grey Cup, which of course is happening here in our beautiful province on Sunday. Lots of people are coming here. Huge economic spinoff as well. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Well, what about joy? I'm so excited to be here. Well, we're going to talk about that. We have a chat at 7:50, just a few moments time, with Economic Development and Tourism Winnipeg. This is my childhood dream. These activations here, I don't know if you guys know, I played on my high school football team growing up. Only girls. Started playing football when I was like 9 years old. Now in our beautiful city, I coach minor football, and this is who it's for. So you got to have a good stance, V's, hands, drive. And and he went down. For any fan, though, truly, I don't know why you'd be an Elks fan here, but you can have a picture with a jersey. There's a snap, and we're also at 7:27 chatting with the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. So you're going to learn some history as well.
I learned something in football. Thank you,
That was
Ainsley.
an impressive tackle.
Yes, indeed. All right, how's it feeling out there right now, Terry?
Beautiful. Even though that temperature has technically dropped another couple of degrees just in this last hour, the conditions are looking gorgeous out here, very clear, and will be very sunny once that sun rises. 7:38 this morning is official sunrise time, and then it will be setting again, of course, before 5 p.m. But throughout the day, It's going to be beautiful and bright and balmy. -5 right now comes along with the breeze, but it's light, 10 clicks out of the west-northwest. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 93%. And yes, clear conditions all through central and southern Manitoba. That's where the temperatures will really be soaring today. Across northern Manitoba, you're going to have a few extra clouds, maybe even some light and scattered precipitation in parts of the far northeast. Temperatures in the northeastern part of the province might remain just below the freezing mark, but still above what you would expect this time of year, even if you are a degree or two below the freezing mark with those highs today. Here is the southern half of the province. The highs are going to be in the mid to high single digits, and then getting even warmer for tomorrow with the mercury on the rise. We could have double digits to wrap up the work week. But while today will be overwhelmingly sunny, tomorrow we're going to start to see some clouds moving in, and then on the other side of that, the sun will be back for the weekend, but those double-digit temperatures won't be sticking around. We will slide off a little for the weekend ahead.
Thanks, Terry. Time now for our question of the day. We want to know, what's your favorite Grey Cup memory? You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. We're talking about Grey Cup with Ainsley McPhail this morning. Lots of money. People are coming here in droves to enjoy the festivities, and that's big for our province. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. I'm really glad that I don't have to book a hotel and we have the luxury of just living here, because they might be full at this point. Natalie Thiessen joins us now to talk about the perspective from Economic Development and Tourism Winnipeg. Thank you for being here this morning, Natalie. You were at Grey Cup last year. How do we fare when it comes to...
I'm really excited of what we have on offer for CFL fans. I mean, there's Canada's biggest social right here. People are arriving. We are ready to welcome them. And if they have been to many CFLs, they're in for a treat for the Grey Cup week. And they're here. They're going to have an amazing time.
What do you want them to, what are you encouraging outsiders to do when they come to Winnipeg?
So we've put together a guide on our website. It's like the 110-yard guide to your week in Winnipeg for Grey Cup festivities. And so whether it's taking in some of the concert series or coming here to take on some of the amazing activations, to experience our city from an attraction standpoint. You have an hour in the afternoon, or you're not ready to head to the Plate Now at the convention center, go visit one of our amazing attractions. Whether if you're an Alouette fan, you want to go check out St. Boniface, our French community, visit the Forks and walk over Esplanade Riel Bridge, take in a local coffee shop, to some of our key attractions like the Leaf or Assiniboine Park, Journey to Churchill, or the Human Rights Museum. So we really have something for all types of fans, and of course our food scene here. I mean, I'm pumped for the Taste of the CFL's new event that's tonight. And then, of course, our pubs and restaurants are ready to welcome CFL fans to make sure they eat well while they're here.
We'll be wrapping up soon, but what does this mean for businesses?
It's huge. I mean, the economic impact of the Grey Cup is over $90 million for our economy. And so that's supporting hotels, attractions, small businesses, restaurants, retailers, and it's huge. But beyond the economic impact, it's amazing for our city, community pride, and we're ready to welcome Canada to Winnipeg in the heart of the country.
Thank you so much. What an exciting week it will be. Everybody is gearing up for Sunday.
Indeed. Thank you, Ainsley. Here's a look now at what's happening in traffic at Kenniston Boulevard. It looks like things are moving well here. But just a quick traffic note to tell you, William Avenue is expected to remain closed through the morning between Juno and Kate as fire crews deal with a fire in a vacant house there. If you have any other traffic tips to share, please text them to us.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Now to some entertainment news. The new Super Mario Galaxy movie is shooting for the stars. This is the first full trailer for the new film, due out in the spring. It shows a tiny Bowser, played by Jack Black, imprisoned in a tiny castle. And the storyline has Mario and friends venturing off into space. It also shows that Rosalina will be appearing in this film. She'll be voiced by Brie Larson. Super Mario Galaxy will hit theaters in April 2026. We're also getting our first look at The Devil Wears Prada 2. This is a teaser trailer for the sequel coming nearly 20 years after the iconic original. It's bringing back the cast for the sequel. That includes Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is set to hit theaters next summer on May the 1st. Rolling Stones fans will feel some satisfaction when checking out this auction.
The leading lot in the sale is Brian Jones's Harmony Stratotone guitar that he acquired in the early 1960s. It was his first electric guitar, and it's what he played at their very early gigs, on their demos, and even on their first single, a cover of Chuck Berry's Come On.
That Brian Jones guitar is particularly cool because it's a budget guitar, one someone in the working class in the 1960s would have owned. It's one of 185 items up for grabs at this Rolling Stones memorabilia auction in Dallas. They believe the guitar could go for as much as $570,000. The auction begins in the first week of December. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with Hell's Kitchen. At 8, catch 911 Nashville. Grey's Anatomy is next at 9. And at 10, it's George and Mandy's First Marriage. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Ooh, that is stunning, isn't it? Through the Bathfitter Live Eye now. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Honestly, it is so gorgeous out there this morning, not just aesthetically, but even with these temperatures. They're above seasonal and the breeze is light, and it's quite pleasant if you want to step outside, get a little bit of fresh air, or take a look at that gorgeous sunrise. -5, so we did drop off from the -3 that we were sitting at through the 6 o'clock hour, but we're still above seasonal, with -9 being a normal low. And seeing similar temperatures, a fistful of degrees below the freezing mark right now, all across southern Manitoba, where the conditions are very clear. For northern Manitoba, your temperatures are actually quite similar, although it's milder over in Island Lake, just barely below the freezing mark. Extra clouds hanging around all through much of northern Manitoba. That may bring a little bit of light precipitation again, especially up in the far northeastern part of the province. That's where the clouds are, but then you can see how clear it looks through central and southern Manitoba. Plenty of sunshine expected for today. Really nice temperatures to go along with it. -3 expected as kids get settled into the classroom. By lunchtime, we're back up above the freezing mark, 4 degrees, -1 normal for this time of year. So anything through midday and into the afternoon will keep us well above seasonal. Up to 6 degrees is our high. We'll be reaching that by about the time kids are coming home from school today, and then do even better tomorrow, doubling those temperatures. Double digits on tap, but some heavier clouds for the end of the week, and then the sunshine back for the weekend, and the temperatures will drop off, but still remaining in those plus digits. Another stunning night of the Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights, thanks to Jennifer, who snapped this picture in the ebb and flow area. And keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. It's time for our Pet of the Week. This week, we're celebrating Abby. Abby's family says this 1-year-old pup is the sweetest girl. She loves cuddling with her human sisters, and her favorite game is tug of war. Congratulations to this good girl. We love your Pet of the Week submissions, so keep them coming, please. Share a photo and a fun story of your pet, dog, cat, bird, or anybody at petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then make sure to watch Thursdays to see if your pet is named our Pet of the Week. I bet you've never heard AC/DC like this. This massive ensemble of bagpipers has just claimed a new world record in Australia. The Great Melbourne Bagpipe Bash took place with 374 bagpipers playing It's a Long Way to the Top. The Australian Book of Records certified the event, confirming this group broke a record set by 333 pipers in Bulgaria in 2012. This performance, by the way, took place in Melbourne's Federation Square, which was where AC/DC recorded a film clip in 1976.
It's the final deadline tonight in the HSC Millionaire Lottery. We talked earlier about what some of those incredible prizes are up for grabs, but now to find out where the money goes. Jonathan Lyon is the president and CEO of Health Sciences Foundation. Let's talk a little bit now where that money does go.
You know, through the generosity of our lottery purchasers, we're able to make strategic investments in the Health Sciences Centre, Manitoba's hospital, the backbone of our healthcare system. So this year, as an example, we've acquired the first robotic surgical instrument, the Da Vinci. And that is allowing patients in women's health, men's health, for lung cancers, esophageal cancers. 98% of the patients are benefiting from new methods of having cancer extricated from their bodies with less invasive procedures, shorter time to recovery, shorter hospital stays, and a quicker ability to get back to work. It helps us attract and retain medical staff. So when we buy our lottery tickets for the HSC Millionaire, we're able to make strategic investments that allow Manitobans to get better, more timely care, better access to health care. And isn't that what we all want and expect from our healthcare system?
Yeah, and you just touched on something interesting there, because of course we want those shorter wait times and we want, you know, faster recoveries. But of course, when we get that top-end technology, it attracts some of the best healthcare professionals, right? That's what they're looking for, is a hospital that, you know, can kind of take things to the next level, and we're doing that right here. So for folks at home that are thinking about maybe buying their ticket, what do you want to say to them?
Please buy our ticket before midnight tonight. HSCMillionaireLottery.com is the best place to go to get your tickets. Encourage everyone to be generous this time of year, and thank you for your support of the HSC Millionaire Lottery, so we can continue to make key investments for better health care for all Manitobans.
You said it so perfectly, John. Thanks.
We are live at Grey Cup festivities this morning with our Ainsley McPhail. Coming up, we're going to find out a little bit more about what you can expect this week and weekend. Stay with us.
Magical sights and sounds are coming to downtown Winnipeg. It's time for the Manitoba Hydro Santa Claus Parade. Stream it live November 15th at 5 p.m. on ctvwinnipeg.ca. Brought to you by Manitoba Hydro.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the University of Winnipeg this morning, sporting a bomber shirt. All kinds of fun festivities happening for Grey Cup. Good morning. Looks good.
You like it, eh? Yeah, I know. I look great. This is so much fun. The Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Oh, I didn't introduce my other friend that I'm really terrified to stand next to. I'm like, I'm better with a baby than the Grey Cup. How cool is this? The Canadian Football Hall of Fame is doing exceptional things for the league and preserving its history, including our Manitoba history. Eric Noy joins us now to tell us all about what you've brought here. And first, tell us about this organization.
Thank you for having us. The Hall of Fame is a charitable organization, and our mission is to preserve the history of the game of football in Canada and ensure that the legacy of those who have touched our game in many ways, whether that's coaching, playing, or administrating, we're ensuring that those legacies live on and last the test of time. So that's part of what we're doing here today and every day when we're back home in Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I'm from that area too. So the Winnipeggers who have really stamped their name in the history books, you've brought some really neat items.
Yeah, we have artifacts trying to tell a couple different stories. So we've got licensed goods from previous Grey Cups hosted here in Winnipeg, this being the 5th time it's been hosted in this great city. We're doing bios on all, or not all I should say, but many of the Manitoba born and some of our famous bombers who are members of the Hall of Fame that are profiled here. So we encourage everybody to come down to the Recplex to check it out, because we're happy to tell those stories.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, where's my grandpa from '82? He played O-line. No, I'm just messing with you. Indigenous stories are so important and key to include, and you've done that here.
Yeah, we have one display case dedicated to some of the Indigenous stories related to the Hall of Fame. Brian Kruplo, a local official, is featured here with some of his merchandise or apparel that he wears during games. We have one of the CFL Truth and Reconciliation balls that were used this year, a little profile on Jack Jacobs, and all he did for this city as a player. So we're really proud of our Indigenous heritage in the CFL, and we're happy to tell those stories as well.
Eric, thank you so much. And keep in mind, too, for those watching, this is a charitable organization, so if you want to donate as well, keep our history alive.
Absolutely.
Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. And when Sunday approaches, a lot of people are going to be wondering what to wear when they head to the Grey Cup. It's going to be a nice day.
It's going to be beautiful. I mean, for November, yeah, that's the thing that we have to keep in mind. It's not going to be like the rest of this week where the temperatures are going to soar well above seasonal, but it will still be quite pleasant all throughout the coming weekend. Look at this the sky this morning. Absolutely stunning as we're getting closer and closer to sunrise. Just a few minutes to go yet at 7:38. -5 is where we're sitting right now with just a light breeze, 10 clicks out of the west-northwest. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 93%. That sky, honestly, I can't get over it. And it's looking so gorgeous, and soon it'll be bright blue because there's not going to be much in the way of clouds. So once that sun rises, we're going to lose all those pretty colors this morning, but still, blue sky, nothing wrong with that. It's going to be stunning today all through southern Manitoba. Clear conditions expected. Through northern Manitoba, you will deal with a few extra clouds, maybe even some light and scattered precipitation for today. 6 degrees is where we're headed today from -5. Those are some impressive gains, well above seasonal. Normal highs are actually around -1, so we typically stay below the freezing mark this time of year, and that won't be the case today or the rest of the week. We'll deal with winds on the lighter side out of the southeast at about 15 clicks, getting slightly stronger overnight up to a 20k wind as we stay above the freezing mark, only dropping to 2 degrees. A few extra clouds through the overnight hours and even more for tomorrow, but even more in the way of temperatures or heat, 12 degrees on tap. From there, I mentioned it'll drop off, but still pleasant for the week ahead or the weekend ahead. We're remaining in the plus digits. When I mentioned -1 is normal, so all through the middle of next week, the above seasonal temperatures continue.
A Winnipeg-based company is moving some of its operations from the U.S. to Winnipeg.
We made a deliberate choice to bring these jobs home because we see Manitoba as a strategic advantage. Its combination of skilled, hard-working talent pool, a business-friendly environment, and more affordable cost structures allows us to remain globally competitive.
Dua Color Services, a leading manufacturer of color sampling tools such as paint swatches, recently acquired one of its largest U.S.-based competitors. It says the move will create 94 new jobs in the province and new training for 42 existing employees. The provincial and federal governments are contributing a combined $159,000 to help the company with its plans.
Now, this investment helps to focus on the growth of Manitoba businesses. People gaining new skills, people investing in their strengths, in innovation, in new technologies, and in manufacturing.
The funds come through the Canada-Manitoba Labour Market Transfer Agreement. The federal government is looking for housing developers for the Nawe-Odena project in West Winnipeg. Ottawa has issued a request for qualifications as it looks to speed up construction of 320 units at the site along Kenniston Boulevard. It envisions a mix of unit sizes and buildings between 2 and 10 stories tall. The feds are now looking for design-build teams for the project. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is defending his leadership style after 2 MPs left his caucus.
Is to continue to lead and be the only leader in the country that's fighting for an affordable Canada where our people who work hard can afford a home and food. That is my agenda.
This comes after Nova Scotia MP Chris D'Entremont crossed the floor to join the Liberals, and Alberta's Matt Genereux announced his resignation. When asked if the departures prompted reflection, Poilievre answered no. He told reporters in Calgary he will continue to focus on what he calls fighting for an affordable Canada. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says the province may help the village of Richmound move on from the Kingdom of Canada fringe group.
It should be the owner of the property that is paying. If there's, some bridge dollars that are needed, I think the minister had indicated that we can, forward some municipal revenue sharing. We can work with the community to make this work.
2 people from Richmound were at the legislature this week calling for help with recovery. Romana Didulo, the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada, was arrested in September. Her followers were also forced out. Community members say people and businesses have left, and the village is struggling with filling jobs and cleaning up. The community says the bill could top $75,000. There appears to be an increase in seasonal positions this year. An Indeed Canada report shows holiday job postings are up 12% compared to a year ago. But even though there are more holiday jobs out there, landing one could still be difficult since there are still many more applicants than positions. If you see heightened military activity around 17 Wing today, don't be alarmed. An emergency response exercise is happening at the site. Starting at 8 this morning, the base will conduct a simulation of a natural disaster. We're told military and civilian emergency vehicles will be coming and going from the base, and people with simulated injuries will be a part of the exercise. It's all part of ongoing efforts to maintain readiness. The exercise is expected to run until 8 p.m. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. York is closed between Edmonton and Carleton for Grey Cup festivities. The westbound lanes on Kernahan are also closed from Plessis to Hoka. And the median lanes on Corden Avenue between Lindsay and Renfrew will be closing following the morning rush. If you have any other traffic tips, please share them with us. Let's take a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.35. The provincial average is lower at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29, and the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.18. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Taking a look outside right now, we're sitting at -5 with a wind chill. It feels like -10, but look at that beautiful sky. That'll warm you up. We'll be back after this short break.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Yeah, we know that cold is coming, but not this weekend, not this week. -5. That's where we're sitting right now, which is above seasonal, and that gorgeous sky that we're waking up to this morning. A light breeze out of the west-northwest is just 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 93%. So technically, the sun is up now. How gorgeous does that look? We will be seeing plenty of sunshine. That sky will change from orange to blue as the sun rises a little higher up into the sky. We'll be enjoying it through central and southern Manitoba, but not necessarily so in the far north. That's where the heavier clouds will be lingering, and there might even be a little bit of mixed precipitation. It will be another mild day up around the Churchill areas where that scattered precipitation may show up with some heavier clouds through the rest of the northeast. In the more central part of the province, maybe a bit more sunshine. Thompson, Norway House, you'll enjoy a few more breaks in those clouds, but along those borders, those heavier clouds are likely to linger, but also too these well above seasonal temperatures right up into northern Manitoba. Even if you are just below the freezing mark, it's still warmer than you would expect this time of year. And in fact, here in the south, you would expect to be just below the freezing mark, with -1 being a normal daytime high, and instead mid to even high single digits with clear conditions and plenty of sunshine. We might see a few clouds here or there, but overall it's going to be a gorgeous day, and these mild temperatures could get even warmer yet. As mild as it's going to be today, we could be doubling these temperatures, pushing up into the double digits for tomorrow, but the heavier clouds are going to start to move in overnight and throughout Friday. For the weekend, the sunshine returns again, and the temperatures will be dropping off, but I mentioned -1 being a normal daytime high. We're still going to remain above the freezing mark right through the middle of next week. Well, it's Grey Cup weekend, and nobody is more excited than Ainsley McPhail. Let's check in and see how she's doing. Hey, Ainsley.
Hi, Terry. And you know what? I might have to correct you because these next people may be more excited than me. I'm not quite sure. I can't see them, but they're on a bus right now. I wanted to interview the band coming in to Winnipeg from Saskatchewan, but they said, oh, we're leaving at 7 a.m. So Rhonda and Naomi and crew join us now to tell us all about what they're doing. Good morning, ladies.
How are you this morning? So we're on our way to Winnipeg for Grey Cup.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
We're on our way.
So you guys left at 7, and tell us a little bit about your group.
Yes, so we are the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Pep Band. And we travel, well, we play for the Rough Riders at all their home games all year. And we travel to Grey Cup every year and have been doing so for over 33 years, I think. 33 years. So.
You didn't have too far to go this time, though. Not as far.
No, not at all. It's a nice, easy bus trip.
What will you do when you're here?
In a variety of venues, 3 schools for the school students, And then we're doing the CFL Fans Fight Cancer. We're doing the Street Festival. We're doing all of the party rooms. We'll be around Winnipeg just painting the city green.
And when it comes to the actual playing, I know that there's a pretty healthy rivalry here when it comes to Bombers and Riders fans. But at the end of the day, do you find that it's a really great community that the CFL brings?
Absolutely. We have made so many friends over the years at Grey Cups, and a lot of times they say that the party doesn't start till the Cup band comes. So we will entertain in all of the different party rooms, and for whichever fan or the citizens of Winnipeg that are in attendance, we will be playing for them.
Super quick, yes or no? Do you guys have socials in Sask?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's a big fun social. So at the end of the day, thank you guys so much. Safe drive.
Thank you, Ainsley. Well, music history is being made by a new song. It's topping the country digital sales charts, but some artists aren't happy about the creative team behind it. ABC's Laura Spencer explains.
This morning, a music industry first.
You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk.
The AI-generated country hit Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust, hitting #1 on a Billboard chart. The song, released less than a month ago, already streamed more than 3 million times, beating out actual humans for the top spot on Billboard's country digital song sales chart. The success getting mixed reactions.
It's made by a robot. It's an AI-generated song, and I'm not sure how to feel about that.
As a graduate of a music industry program, this is fascinating to me. As an artist, this is absolutely insane to me.
Billboard acknowledging Breaking Rust is an AI act, saying it's one of at least 6 to chart in the past few months alone.
Let go, let God, give him control.
Like Zanaya Monet, the AI R&B and gospel crooner created by songwriter Talisha Nikki Jones, amassing more than 44 million streams since her debut.
I think ultimately this feels almost like an experiment to see just how far something like this can go and what happens in the future and in other disciplines of art as well.
This just one of many examples of AI making its way into art.
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
AI generated actress Tilly Norwood drawing swift backlash with her debut.
I'm built on everything that came before me.
Actress Emily Blunt telling Variety's Clayton Davis.
That's an AI.
Yes, that is a...
Good Lord. We're screwed. That is really, really scary. Come on, agencies. Don't do that.
AI artists won't require all the things that a real human artist will require. And once companies start looking about and considering bottom lines, I think that's when, artists should rightly be concerned about it.
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 30th birthday to Brianna with love from your mom. Happy birthday, Sebastian. Love mom, dad, and your cat, Loki. Happy birthday, Aileen Joyce. Love Lawrence, Levi Jr., Erica, and Liam. Happy birthday, Penny. Love from your sister, Oli, and Mitch. Husband, Darren, and Mila, and all family and friends. And a happy 4th birthday to Lunella. Love mom, dad, and Jetlin. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
All right.
right, 6 degrees is where we're headed today, and if we make it there, that'll put us well above seasonal, -1 being normal for this time of year. Now, last year we got just above 6 degrees, but it was 2007, 17.4 degrees, although 1986 it was -25. That would be a shock to the system if we suddenly dealt with those record-breaking lows, but that is not at all the case. In fact, tomorrow we could be doubling the temperatures that we're expecting today, and even today we'll be well above normal. So very, very mild to finish off the work week, and a beautiful blue sky that we're waking up to now. It's -5 at the moment. Just a light breeze. It's 10 clicks right now out of the west-northwest. The pressure falling, and the humidity is sitting at 93%. And yes, the sky is looking stunning. Grab the sunglasses. And when I was out walking home, I ran into Faye, who said she was so glad that I told her to bring her sunglasses for her walk. She had them on, and her toque. We had matching toques because it was a little bit cool, and I noticed that with those winds yesterday. But today the winds will remain on the lighter side, so we'll be lucking in with that, and the sunshine and the above seasonal temperatures all across southern Manitoba. The sun will be shining for us, but some heavier clouds will linger across parts of northern Manitoba that might even bring a little mixed precipitation up in the far northeast.
When an immigrant comes to our country, they are often highly skilled and trained in a profession, but many barriers may hinder their ability to find employment in their field. The Canadian Immigrant Professional Alliance, or CIPA, is a nonprofit that provides assistance, coaching, mentorship, and peer support so that newcomers can find opportunity and success in Canada. Joining us now to tell us more about CIPA is the founder, president, and CEO, Juanita Ahmad de Souza Hulati. Good morning, Juanita.
Thank you.
Well,
thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, this was kind of your brainchild. This is something you've been thinking about for many, many years. You first came to Canada in 1990 from Ghana.
Yes.
And you really struggled when you first got here. Tell us about your struggle.
Yeah, when I first got here, I mean, even though I had a job when I landed here with IBM, loneliness was a key one, and being able to navigate the culture and integrate was a key one. So I have to come out of my comfort zone. Those who know me before coming to Canada, I was very into my shell, but I came out and here I am, building an organization and doing things that I never imagined of doing. And quite often when immigrants come, they feel the same way. You know, they don't know Canada is so welcoming. They don't know they can talk to you because you look different. You talk differently. Sometimes they also talk about, oh, you have an accent. All these are even experiences that is to our advantage, which we don't know.
Right.
Our skills, our experience and everything, nobody sees it. CIPA is giving immigrant opportunity to showcase that skill. So with CIPA, everything we've done so far has been done by immigrant for immigrant. And the other thing I realized was that I wish I had somebody with lived experience to walk me and navigate that. So we have a lot of agencies.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. What is CIPA exactly, and what do you do when a newcomer comes for support?
We don't just do newcomers, and we don't want to use the word newcomers. Okay. So we use immigrants because newcomers is mainly given an opportunity for a few years, right? So what we do is provide this ecosystem for professionals, how they can turn their skill set and experience they've had into something meaningful in Canada and get their pathway into their profession. They all come, the other agencies help them, they do a great job with, you know, in terms of getting them the first job, the foundational thing of, you know, integration. But then immigrants are always hungry, they want more, and that's where they get stuck. For example, a meter reader who came to my house to read a meter, have MBA from UK, but have been here for 10 years and can't find a pathway to be a business analyst. So CIPA will look at you and say, okay, what can we do? How can we give you that Canadian experience? So we provide people opportunity to showcase their skills. And that's how they get to know even what they have hidden that they are not aware of.
It's also a good way to network and build some friendships and maybe find different avenues for some of your expertise, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And so since you've started this, what have you seen? What kind of successes have you seen?
Wow. I was working, and so we did a first internship in April of this year. First off, we collaborated with YesNet. It's a youth employment, but they have a lot of free resources in terms of training, like with IBM Skillset, with Google and NSN Young, with AI and all that. And the first 2 days, we collaborated with them. We put it out there. Within 2 days, we have 58 people registered for it.
Wow. And
what we saw is that with the internship that I did through U of W, I had only five people. They grew. They didn't even know the skill set they had. They are building Resource Hub. If you go to our website, that Resource Hub was built, was envisioned by one of them. It was my idea, but they took the idea and blew it into something. Right now, it's very, it's not digitally enhanced, and we want to use AI to enhance it, and that's where we are needing resources, right? And the second cohort, oh my God, some couldn't even do presentations. Now, they are moderating panels.
That is incredible. So it's working, and it's working well. So if you want more information on SEPA, we have a link on our website. Thank you, Juanita.
Thank you very much.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday. And before we go to the American Hockey League, this is Springfield's Nikita Alexandrov going 1-on-2, makes one defender stumble before flipping it upstairs while falling. What a great goal by the Blues prospect who was drafted in the second round in 2019. His 21 goals last season were tied for the second most on the Thunderbirds. They go on to beat Laval 3-1. That is your must-see moment. Tonight, Thursday Night Football, it's the Patriots and Jets. New England looking to win 8 in a row for the first time since 2019. Kickoff set for 8:15. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds, helping your home get holiday ready with Blinds by Hunter Douglas.
It's Thursday, November 13th, putting the brakes on fare evaders. How much revenue is Winnipeg's transit system losing when would-be riders don't pay up? Mega projects on the federal fast track. Which provinces are expected to benefit when the Prime Minister makes the official announcements later today? And young drivers and their instructors train in virtual reality for scenarios that can't be safely staged out on the streets. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in on Your Morning Winnipeg. Last night, I saw them again, the Northern Lights. The night before,
so many
they were
people
out.
saw
I know
them.
they're incredible.
I'm jealous.
And it's been happening for a few days now. So we're going to find out from the planetarium's astronomer, Scott Young, on what's going on. Will this continue? And what exactly is creating all of these beautiful lights that we're seeing, which we love?
They've been incredible, even more spectacular than usual, and the different colors that we're seeing. So yeah, you'll get more of the breakdown.
It's nice to enjoy them when it's this mild outside too.
And this clear, that's been making for some incredible viewing conditions, and you're right, mild as well. So where we're sitting right now is still above seasonal, -9 being a normal low. We have been dropping off over the course of the morning, sitting now at -5. But the wind is light. It's just 10 clicks out of the west-northwest. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 93%. And the sun is up now, so it's looking beautiful. Bright blue sky expected. Across northern Manitoba, maybe not quite as much sunshine. You can see the heavier clouds showing up on the satellite image right now, but the clear conditions all across central and southern Manitoba. Now, with these clouds across the north, there is the possibility of just a little bit of scattered precipitation that you could be seeing. Overnight, we'll start to see just a few more clouds starting to move into the afternoon, continuing overnight. And then for tomorrow, northern Manitoba, you're going to be seeing plenty of snow, or for some, because the temperatures will be mild enough, it could be in that more mixed form. We even have the possibility, we'll certainly see some heavier clouds, but could possibly even see some brief passing showers moving through, certainly through parts of central Manitoba, more so on the eastern side of the province. But with those heavier clouds comes some much warmer temperatures. I mean, as mild as it's been, it's about to get even warmer yet, with double digits on tap to finish off the work week. Yes, there will be some heavier clouds for Friday, but it clears out for the weekend. As it does, though, you'll notice these temperatures dropping off, still staying in the plus digits, but above the seasonal -1. Olivia, thank you for this beautiful coloring or painting. It was watercolor works, actually, to be technical, of the poppies. Keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
A section of William Avenue is closed as fire crews deal with a house fire this morning. The city says the first call out came shortly after 11:30 last night for a fire at a vacant home in the 500 block of William Avenue. On arrival, crews found heavy smoke and flames. As of this morning, they're still at the scene. William is expected to remain closed between Kate and Juno Streets through the morning. The city says the home is a complete loss due to extensive smoke, fire, and water damage. Once conditions allow, firefighters will determine whether an emergency demolition is needed. The house was also the site of 3 previous fires between August and October 2025. There were no injuries, and the fire is under investigation. The City of Winnipeg says a crackdown on bus fare evasion is paying off. Numbers released Wednesday show thousands of people were denied a ride and hundreds of others paid when they were asked to do so.
It's a lot of lost revenue, and we're trying to fix that.
In fact, lost revenue for the transit system due to fare evasion is estimated at between $7 and $10 million a year. To address that, the city announced a crackdown in September with police, transit safety officers, and inspectors. Since then, there have been more than 4,900 denied rides. More than 2,670 people walked away before being prompted to pay. There were 931 warnings, and 359 riders paid after they were asked to. Police have also been patrolling the transit system and made 9 criminal code arrests. The union representing transit drivers says 90% of assaults are related to conflicts over unpaid fares. They say extra enforcement is making a difference.
Our members are starting to feel a little bit safer knowing that they're out there. And, you know, it's going to have a residual effect of more people are going to feel safer on the bus, and the more people are going to start taking the bus again.
While the crackdown will continue, Public Works Committee Chair Janice Lukes does want people to know those enforcing payment rules won't be heavy-handed with all fare evaders. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says Ottawa's list of major projects to fast-track isn't moving fast enough.
There's not a single project that he has launched that was not already in the making or approved before he took office.
The projects we know of so far have already started development. CTV News has learned projects picked for the second phase, including the Sil-Isma LNG facility in BC, a hydroelectric project in Iqaluit, the Sis-In mine in New Brunswick, and the Crawford Nickel mine in Northern Ontario. There's no word right now if the Alberta pipeline to BC is on the list. We'll know for sure when Prime Minister Mark Carney makes the announcement later today in BC. VR is being used to fill some of the gaps in driving instruction. These young drivers are putting on their VR goggles before heading out on the road. The goggles help students get ready for scenarios they can't train for on the road. The school uses VR to train both teachers and students. Here's what's happening now in traffic on Portage Avenue. Looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about in this part of the drive. If you see any problems out there, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the University of Winnipeg. That's where the party's at this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Who better to start the party than me? I've hit the bag. I've asked Kenny if I can run through. They finally inflated or inflated? Yeah, the big helmet that I'm going to run out of the tunnel. Just wait. Okay. This is a really important person that I'm with right now. Head of football operations with the Canadian Football League, but also head of this festival. And you guys work, this is Greg Dick, you guys work with the Bombers in order to make this happen.
Yes. Each team that's the host for the Grey Cup, we work collaboratively with them to put on all the events. So for instance, this event here in the Recplex here at University of Winnipeg is the Blue Bombers. This is their festival event for the kids, free festival event for all ages, but a lot of, you can see, like, you run through the helmet, hit the bag, there's lots of kids stuff, right? So, you know, you like to do that. But that's, and then the outdoor street festival that's just outside this building is Bombers at the RBC Convention Center. The team parties are going to be put on. That's mostly the Blue Bombers, but then the awards show tonight is a collaboration between us and the league and the Blue Bombers, and obviously we put on the game, which is the big thing this week. So
you oversee a lot, so how do our fans fare?
The Bombers fans, yeah, like they're the best in the one of the best. I can't say the best.
We're sending that back to Saskatchewan, by the way.
That's right. Definitely, you're the Bombers fans and the Rider fans are very passionate fans. You know, Hamilton, Ottawa, all of them. Montreal, you'll see some Montreal fans here, and they like to blow they have these air horns that they do in Montreal. So, you know, every fan group has a distinct sort of appeal.
Something that I've noticed too about the CFL is that when they all come together for the Grey Cup, they really are coming together, all of the 9 teams. It's not really like that in other sports leagues. Do you notice that too, how special it really is?
Yeah, this is a very unique CFL culture. There's no question. You'll see fans here that have been coming to the Grey Cup for 50 years, and they have their team, but they cheer for everybody, and they just cheer for the CFL. It's an incredible experience, actually, if you've never experienced a Grey Cup, because there are fans from all over the country. U.S., they come here and they just love being here and loves watching whoever's playing in the game.
Thank you so much for this conversation this morning. Okay, coming up at 8:38, we got a whole team of bagpipers. Don't go anywhere.
Sounds fun. Thanks, Ainsley. And Edmonton Bakery is busy putting the finishing touches on its annual Gingerbread House. This year's theme is the Grand Budapest Hotel, the famous hotel from a Wes Anderson movie. CTV's Naremem Issa has more on Duchess Bakery's creation and fundraiser.
I'd rather put a shim in there, honestly.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's all hands on deck as Garner and Kelsey Beggs deck out this gingerbread house.
We are under a real tight deadline here. We have hours left to finish it, so it's going to be a non-stop slog from now until its unveiling.
Every couple of years, Duchess Bake Shop creates an elaborate gingerbread house. This year's theme?
Grand Budapest Hotel. So one of my favorite Wes Anderson films.
This is the hotel in the movie, and this is the Duchess version so far. It's made up of more than 90 kilograms of gingerbread, approximately 30 kilograms of melted sugar, and a whole lot of royal icing.
Hundreds of hours go into the creation of it.
In previous years, Duchess recreated Hogwarts from Harry Potter, the castle from Frozen, and the Milan Cathedral.
It just makes me happy. I don't know. To me, gingerbread is synonymous with the season.
The gingerbread displays come with a charitable connection. Anyone who brings in winter clothing donations like gloves and toques or toiletries will be entered into a draw.
And we draw that winner in the new year, and them and 10 of their friends get a demolition party. So they can bring baseball bats and sledgehammers, crowbars, whatever they want, and they can destroy the Grand Budapest Hotel.
This year's donations are going to iHuman, a nonprofit that helps homeless and marginalized youth.
We see a number of youth every year come in with the really bad frostbite, some of them actually losing their toes and fingers due to the cold weather.
iHuman helps about 500 teens and young adults a week, providing a safe day space, meals, snacks, and activities such as painting and sewing. Staff say the supports they offer can create positive changes.
They get an opportunity to build a community and to have all the support they need and really deserve to be able to make some different changes in their life.
The Grand Budapest Gingerbread Hotel will be on display at Duchess for the next few weeks, starting this Saturday. Naronisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Beautiful outside this morning as we take a look now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. It's gorgeous and clear, and it's starting to warm up. So far this morning, we've only watched the temperature dropping off, although we never did plummet as low as what is normal for this time of year. -9 being a seasonal low. We got as cool as -5, but we're already rebounding, now sitting at -4. Seeing those similar mid-single temperatures all throughout southern Manitoba. Moving up into northern Manitoba, also many of you just below the freezing mark or mid to high single digits. But there's a few extra clouds across northern Manitoba that we're not seeing here in the south. With those clouds in the north, there might even be a little bit of precipitation, especially in the very far northeast around Churchill. The possibility of some scattered flurries in the area. Many of us through central and southern Manitoba will see nothing but sunshine today, so grab those sunglasses. It's going to be gorgeous and well above normal. -3 as kids get settled into the classroom. Lunchtime temperatures +4. up to 6 degrees by the time they're coming home again. -1, that would be a normal daytime high. So soaring well beyond it today and then doubling those temperatures for tomorrow. Double digits expected. We will see a few extra clouds tomorrow, though. So Friday is looking a little bit overcast, especially into the afternoon, but the sunshine returning for the weekend, sticking around for next week, and also sticking around as these above seasonal temperatures, just a little bit above the freezing mark, but -1 is normal. We're taking a break. We'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
When you give a child a winter coat, you give them the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside, because no child should be freezing cold. Donate to Coats for Kids, proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
As the holiday season nears, a familiar sight is going up in front of City Hall. The City of Winnipeg began installing its artificial Christmas tree Wednesday on Main Street. The massive tree features lights and decorations with the annual tree lighting ceremony planned for Monday. You'll be able to watch that happen live on CTV News at 6. An early Christmas gift from Nova Scotia is now on its way to Boston.
The tree was planted when it was probably about a foot big, and probably 42 years ago. Decorated it for Christmas when it got big enough with lights and bows, and then when it got a little bit bigger, it was like, well, maybe we can grow this for Boston.
The annual tree for Boston was cut down in Lunenburg County. Boston's Mayor Michelle Wu was on hand to officially receive the 13-meter tall white spruce. She even helped with the chainsaw. The tree is an annual tradition and is Nova Scotia's way of showing thanks to Boston for sending medical assistance after the Halifax explosion in 1917. It will be lit in Boston Common on December 4th. Mayor Wu told the crowd the tree is an enduring symbol of the strong relationship between Boston and Nova Scotia, adding that despite the tariff-related tensions, the people of Boston feel warmly toward Canadians. The night skies over Manitoba have been filled with moving patterns of color. The aurora borealis have been very active the last few nights. Joining us now to tell us more about what is happening is Manitoba Museum Planetarium's astronomer Scott Young. Good morning, Scott.
Morning, Rochelle.
Thanks so much for joining us. Now, I was lucky enough for 2 nights in a row, both Tuesday as well as last night, saw them from my back deck, and it wasn't that late either. It seems that a lot of people are getting this experience in Manitoba these days. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, well, there was a big solar flare earlier in the week, and it's the activity on the sun that drives whether we see northern lights or not. So long story short, the big solar flare made really bright northern lights. The first night, Tuesday night, was so bright, it just looked like the sky was painted red. I got out of my car and looked up, and the sky was just completely red. It wasn't something that was subtle or anything like that. Just beautiful, probably the brightest red aurora that I've seen in my life of sky watching. And all of a sudden, the social media feeds started to light up, and everybody was getting amazing pictures. It was just a fantastic event. And then it held over a second night. And so the people that missed it the first night had enough warning to get out and maybe go to a dark location and see all the stuff. It was just sort of the perfect combination of Mother Nature giving us a great show.
And we've seen so many pictures here at Your Morning Winnipeg. So many of my friends have sent pictures from all over the province. Really some incredible photos to take in. Tell us why these are perfect conditions for what we're seeing.
Yeah, well, the sun has sort of a cycle to it, and it gets more active every 11 years or so and then sort of fades off a bit. And the northern lights ebb and flow with that same cycle. And right now we're at solar maximum, basically the most active part of the sun. So we've been seeing quite a few northern lights in the last year or so compared to maybe 5 years ago. But also with the advent of social media, and now we have great cameras that everyone carries around in their phone, and people can just take a quick picture. It's really made it very accessible for people to see it. And of course, we just had the time change, and it's getting darker earlier, so that people are actually out and about in the dark, whereas in summertime it doesn't get dark till much later. So all of these things really fed together. But the main thing was that big solar flare that came pumping out of the sun on Monday. We actually thought it wouldn't get here till last night, but it got there early, so it was a bit of a surprise. And it just sort of shows we don't know everything we want to know about these northern lights, but if you go outside and you catch them, you're very lucky.
Now, is this expected to continue, or did we just get lucky getting it 2 days in a row like that?
Well, it's hard to say. The activity is definitely ebbing, and the first night was like very, very powerful. The second night was very different. We got to see different faces of the northern lights. Tonight, it'll probably be much, much fainter. However, the sun can do another gust of solar wind anytime, and that gives us maybe a day or so warning that more activity might be on the way.
It's quite an experience to feel it, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, you're standing there under the starry sky, and the whole sky is lighting up. It's very eerie. It doesn't look like, you know, spotlights or lasers or any other kind of light. It's a very eerie feeling to the colors. And then, of course, the second night we really got to see some of the curtains of aurora that we see sort of dancing and waving and really, really changing. The first night it was just sort of wow, everything all over the sky. Sort of saturating the sky. Yeah.
Scott, thank you so much for sharing this with us, and hopefully we'll see some more tonight, Derry.
Yes, you know what? We had so many pictures of people sending them in, and in one of the emails that I got with pictures in it, they were taken out at Birds Hill Park, which is a great place just outside the city to go and do some viewing of it. They said there were hundreds of people that were out there capturing that view, and I'm not surprised when we're being blessed with something so unique and so spectacular. Well, we're probably in for maybe another decent night. We might see a few more clouds this coming night than we did, say, this past night. This past night was completely clear, and it still is out here this morning. -4 is where we're sitting with these above seasonal temperatures. The winds are light, 5 clicks out of the west. The pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 92%. And now, yes, blue sky and sunshine. Another clear and beautiful day for central and southern Manitoba, but slightly different conditions across the north with the extra clouds and maybe even some scattered precipitation, especially in the far northeast. But even there, above seasonal temperatures, though you might not crack the freezing mark today, it will be a little bit cooler across parts of northern Manitoba. It's only going to get warmer here in the south, while we're expecting a high of about 6 degrees today. Tomorrow, double digits to finish off the work week, but it won't be anywhere near as sunny, with some heavier clouds moving in for Friday and cooling somewhat for the weekend. There's another shot of those northern lights out in the ebb and flow area. Stunning picture taken by Jennifer. Keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break. We'll see you soon.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Magical sights and sounds are coming to downtown Winnipeg. It's time for the Manitoba Hydro Santa Claus Parade. Stream it live November 15th at 5 p.m. on ctvwinnipeg.ca. Brought to you by Manitoba Hydro.
Prime Minister Mark Carney will name a major electricity transmission line in British Columbia to his list of nation-building projects eligible to be fast-tracked, according to people familiar with the matter. The North Coast Transmission Line, or NCTL, is a top priority for BC Premier David Eby and is aimed at unlocking resource projects in the remote region and connecting them to sources of clean power. A second project expected to be announced is the Crawford Nickel Project, based near Timmins, Ontario. The Crawford deposit on Highway 655 near the Highway 11 intersection is one of the largest nickel deposits in the world. It would have a mine ore production capacity of 240,000 tons a day and a mill ore input capacity of 120,000 tons. The project would operate for about 41 years. President Trump signed a government funding package at the White House late Wednesday, formally ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The bill was passed by the House and Senate this week, bringing an end to a stalemate that gripped Capitol Hill and the country for 43 days, with the final outcome falling largely along party lines. The end of the shutdown has fueled gains on the TSX, and many businesses here are waiting to see backlogs cleared at customs and flights returning to normal, but that may take a few weeks. And Michael Burry, the provocative fund manager whose bets against the housing market were chronicled in The Big Short, appears to be closing his hedge fund. A securities filing shows. A filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission shows the registration status of Scion Asset Management, which has as of March, had a $154 million worth of assets under management, was terminated on Monday. Registration is required for funds worth over $100 million. Burry hasn't directly addressed the closure, but he has flagged on his increasingly active social media account that he will be onto much better things on November 25th. as he also chided the media for overstating how much he spent on a put contract on AI software company Palantir Technologies, saying it was $9.2 million, not $912. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
It's the final deadline tonight at midnight for the HSC Millionaire Lottery. Whitney Morrison joins me this morning. She runs the lottery, the brains behind it all. And I mean, earlier this morning we talked about some of the great prizes, and I mean, $1 million up for grabs, houses, cars, you name it. And then of course we talked about where that money goes. But one of the things that we didn't mention was some of the really great local prizes that are up for grabs. Give us a bit of an overview of some of those Manitoba-made prizes.
Yes, so we have over 2,000 local prizes. HSC is proudly Manitoban. We are a proudly Canadian lottery. And so all of our prizes give back to our local business community. So we've got gift cards from like Lakeview Resorts, for example, so you can head out to Hecla or Gimli. We've also got right here in Winnipeg, in at the Forks, you can have a little staycation. You can go to this Riverstone Spa. You can eat at Smith. And then we've got lots and lots of gift cards to the Bombers store, the Jets store. We've also got smaller boutiques like Tika's Boutique and Charcuterie, which are both Indigenous women-owned businesses, which is fantastic. And of course, now this year, we also got to host, or we're getting to host, the Grey Cup. And so we've sent 3 people, or we'll be sending 3 people to the Grey Cup this weekend. So that'll be very exciting.
Yeah. Actually, that's 3 times 2, because they got a pair of tickets. So 6 people sitting in those sold-out stands won their tickets. But that doesn't mean that there's not still great stuff to be won, but only if you get your tickets by midnight tonight. How do people go about doing that?
Go to hscmillionaire.com or give us a call at 204-253-5688 or in person at London Drugs and San Vital Center or Red River Co-op Food Stores and Pharmacy.
Yeah, gas and groceries for a year, homes, cars, $1 million of cash in a couple of weeks' time. When this is all announced, somebody is going to be Manitoba's newest millionaire. Is it going to be you? Not unless you get your ticket.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
-4 outside right now, and it's looking gorgeous, clear and bright with just a light breeze out of the west. Right now, it's only 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling and the humidity is sitting at 92%. Yes, beautiful, absolutely stunning, and it's going to be another spectacular day ahead all across southern Manitoba. Make sure you've got those sunglasses handy because these conditions this morning so very bright, and that sunshine will be sticking around. For northern Manitoba, few extra clouds. With those clouds come the possibility of flurries, but even across northern Manitoba, above seasonal temperatures are expected. Here in the south, many degrees above what you would expect. For example, -1 being a normal low. 6 degrees instead is where we're headed for today. And that breeze, I mentioned how light it is this morning, could be shifting slightly out of the southeast, only at about 15 kilometers per hour though, so light breeze, sunshine, and beautiful balmy temps. In fact, we're going to stay above the freezing mark overnight when a normal low would put us at about -9. Instead, plus digits at 2 degrees with winds out of the south, 20 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, even warmer yet. Shockingly so, up to 12 degrees. There will be some heavier clouds moving in, though, especially later on into the afternoon. It might become quite overcast, and we may even see a brief passing shower, but 12 degrees, well above normal. And even for the weekend, though it drops off considerably, we're staying above seasonal. -1 being that normal daytime high. We're likely to stay in the plus digits right through the middle of next week.
William Avenue is closed between Juno and Kate as emergency crews deal with a fire in a vacant house. The city says the first call-out came shortly after 11:30 last night. On arrival, crews found heavy smoke and flames. As of this morning, they're still at the scene. William is expected to remain closed between Kate and Juno streets through the morning. The city says the home is a complete loss due to extensive smoke, fire, and water damage. Once conditions allow, firefighters will determine whether an emergency demolition is needed. The house was also the site of 3 previous fires between August and October 2025. There were no injuries, and the fire is under investigation. 43 days later, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history is now over.
The federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed a government funding bill last night, officially bringing an end to the record-long shutdown. At the signing, President Trump blamed the Democrats, saying federal workers were left without paychecks, flights were canceled, and food bank programs were interrupted. The legislation is the result of a deal reached by 8 senators who broke ranks with the Democrats. It will extend the government funding through to January 30th. If you see heightened military activity around 17 Wing today, don't be alarmed. An emergency response exercise is happening at the site. Starting at 8 this morning, the base will conduct a simulation of a natural disaster. We're told military and civilian emergency vehicles will be coming and going from the base, and people with simulated injuries will be a part of the exercise. It's all part of ongoing efforts to maintain readiness. The exercise is expected to run until 8 p.m. A scathing legal ruling for a major Canadian airline and the newlyweds praised by an Ontario judge for documenting a customer service experience he called terrible. They took video of the interaction on their phone. That's when Air Transat prevented them from boarding their flight home unless they deleted the recording. CTV's Adrian Gabriel has more on how their ultimate decision impacted the courts.
I want to go home, that's all. On March 31st, 2024, Madhu Haridas and his wife arrived at Punta Cana International Airport to check in for their Air Transat flight home to Toronto. The couple were finishing their first vacation away as husband and wife.
We had fun except the last day.
The last day?
Yeah.
Not so fun.
Not so fun.
That's because when they arrived at the airport, this Air Transat check-in supervisor refused to check them in unless the couple erased video they had taken of their customer service experience.
I need to delete all pictures and all video for check-in.
When they first arrived at the airport, they asked an Air Transat agent where they should line up. Haridas's wife was traveling with an Indian passport and a Canadian work permit.
He first yelled and told to stand behind a red line. So there was a red marker on the floor. So when he yelled, immediately we stood behind.
The couple say they asked the agent to stop shouting. It was during that exchange he first refused to check them in.
When he allowed everyone else to check in, that's when I started taking videos.
Then came the ultimatum.
Okay. Delete all information with me in your cell phone.
It is a form of extortion or blackmailing, essentially.
Never allowed to check in, they had to purchase expensive same-day tickets with another airline. They took their case to small claims court. In a written decision, an Ontario judge found that Air Transat's conduct was effectively egregious. The judge applauded the couple for taking video, which assisted him in reaching his decision.
There is no right for the airline or any airline employee to privacy that would deprive you of documenting how they are treating you.
As a passenger, you should know your rights before you travel.
Air Transat has declined to comment on the court's ruling.
The small claims court ruling resulted in Air Transat having to pay $7,000 to the couple, who also say their payment included an email from the airline congratulating them on their victory. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Here's what's happening in traffic now on Donald Street. Looks like things are moving well here. We have no issues to tell you about in this point in the drive. If you see any problems out there, though, please let us know. And let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.35. The provincial average is lower at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29. And the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.18. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For our question of the day, we wanted to know what's your favorite Grey Cup memory. Lori's was the 1989 game where Saskatchewan won 43-40 with a field goal on the last play of the game. Lori says we were there in Toronto at the game celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary. Steve says my favorite Grey Cup memory is when the Bombers won in 2019. Andrew Harris brought me the Grey Cup at the Force to touch and take pictures with it. Coming from a Winnipeg boy, it was cool to have him present that in this way. The entire party that day was so memorable. Jackie says in 1998, 4 of us were watching the parade downtown when a player on the Bomber alumni float pulled us up. We got to dance and celebrate on the float the rest of the parade, and then were invited to the convention center to a big private party. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who is celebrating the Grey Cup this morning at the University of Winnipeg. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Michelle. I just wanted to apologize to you and Terry and our audience because I feel like I've been chatting in 2x speed all morning just because of my excitement. Maybe I'll slow it down for this. I know, I'm sorry. Okay, Scott Murray is joining us. With 5 decades of history I am standing beside, what an honor and a privilege, the Winnipeg Police Pipe Band. You guys have been traveling for quite some time to various Grey Cups.
That's right. Thank you for having us. We've some version of this pipe band has been at the past 50 to 60 years of the Grey Cup. I say 50 to 60 because it's changed somewhat. The full police pipe band used to go, but now we're actually a group that is comprised of members of police pipe bands from across all of Western Canada, including Vancouver, Calgary, Lethbridge, Red Deer, Winnipeg, of course, some from Regina. And I've been going for about 15 years myself. So we're going to try to make sure that even though you want to slow things down a bit, we're going to keep that excitement up because we're excited to be here.
Well, you guys are going to be hopping around quite a bit too here in Winnipeg.
That's right. There's a lot of people who come to the Cup every year, and you see a lot of the same faces. And we've made connections over the years to go to those events. Spirit of Edmonton has always been a huge one for us, as well as the Lions Den. And of course, I wouldn't be Winnipegger if I didn't say Touchdown Manitoba is huge. But we also play a charity fundraiser that raises money for cancer every year called CFL Fans Fight Cancer. That one's going to be at Tavern United at the MTS location, or whatever the new name of the venue is, as well as multiple other pubs downtown. So if you see a piper, odds are it's going to be us or someone who wants to be us somewhere in the downtown area.
I love that. And I was thinking to myself, it's probably too cold to pipe outside.
You know, Scotland has a bit more of a fair weather climate, and the uniform is designed for that. So we'll try to do as much indoor stuff as we can. And, you know, if you see us, maybe give us a lift to the next indoor place if you come across us on the road.
Thank you so much. I won't waste any more of your time. Take it away. What a great way to end our show.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you to them for performing for us this morning. Lots of sunshine out there, Terry.
So much sunshine, very similar to yesterday. This is the time of the morning where it's bouncing off all of the buildings in the downtown area. The reflection of it alone is looking blindingly bright. And as far as the conditions go today, that's going to be the case all day long, at least here through central and southern Manitoba. It's -4 right now, and the breeze is light, 5 clicks out of the west. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 92%. So blue sky above, stunning conditions, light breeze, soaring temperatures is going to be spectacular. Tomorrow will be even warmer yet, but nowhere near as sunny. We're going to start to see some heavier clouds moving in, maybe even some brief passing showers in some parts through central and southern Manitoba. But today, it'll be up in northern Manitoba where that possibility of precipitation lingers, and certainly lingering will be some heavier clouds across the north as well. But even there, above seasonal temperatures are expected. It's going to remain mild across the entire province, at least for the next couple of days. It will start to cool down ahead for the weekend. The temperatures dropping off and ending up just barely above the freezing mark, but that's still above seasonal. So -1 would be normal for this time of year for a daytime high, and we're looking at some low plus digits to carry us right through the middle of next week. We're taking a break right now. We'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning. Snacks and science are converging. Brad Hicks shows us how satellites are helping farmers gain valuable insights from space.
If you've ever eaten Doritos, good chance Joe Walgren grew the corn in those chips.
We grow a lot of grain for them.
He doesn't just harvest with his combine, he collects information.
It's just a wonderful tool to gather data.
And farming on the scale he does, good data can save dollars. But for decades, a key piece of that data puzzle has been missing. Farmers could measure how much water they pumped, but not where that water was going.
Just because the water
gets poured onto the field doesn't mean the crop is actually consuming that water.
And across the high plains, that's a problem. The High Plains Aquifer, the biggest in America, holds a lot of water.
You could fill several of the Great Lakes.
But some parts have become dangerously overdrawn.
There's areas where we've pumped so much water that we can't get water out of it anymore.
So to better measure where the water is going, Jim Schneider and his team are looking to the sky.
They've been flying these satellites around the Earth since 1985. It's called the Landsat satellites.
The satellites use thermal sensors to measure evapotranspiration, ET, which shows how much water crops and soil are sending back into the atmosphere.
ET is usually the missing component to balance the water budget.
But until recently, that information wasn't widely available. A cooperative effort called OpenET is changing that. OpenET puts the Landsat information in a format farmers can actually use.
The lighter yellow colors are less ET and the darker is more ET. If you zoom in, you can see that it's being measured on a field-by-field basis.
So it's literally telling us how much water the crops are using. It's really beyond what we were ever able to do in the past.
That's better data. That's actionable data.
A little science in your snack coming from space. In Nebraska, Brad Hicks reporting.
Always love to welcome this guy back to the show. Chef Shahir Massoud joining us this morning. Good morning, Shahir.
Terry, how are you? Always good to be with you.
Thank you. You know, I have to give you so much credit because I always used to think of turkey, wait for it, I always used to think of turkey as like a festive occasion, right? We bring it out for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, all of that. You have made it an everyday staple, and that's all because of your incredible recipes.
When you think about it, Terry, there's a reason. It's a great lean source of protein. And I've always said turkey, whether it's the breast meat, the thigh meat, you can now buy the individual cuts, especially from Butterball, easy, fresh. It's a blank canvas for flavor. And when you think about over the years, if you go to butterball.ca, I've done all sorts of different recipes, different genres, different marinades, spices, and this one's no different. Today, Terry, I'm going to show you how to make a stir fry, but not just any stir fry. I'm going to make a black bean crispy turkey stir fry with the trick to a crispy, perfect result. So I'm going to use my Easy Fresh. You could use your breast meat or your thigh meat. Just debone it, cut it up into chunks. And after I cut it up into chunks, it kind of looks like this. And you can see I've kind of got it in. I've got it in a marinade, but it's almost part marinade and part dredge.
What's a dredge? Oh, like the flour?
So, exactly. And the secret ingredient in this marinade dredge thing is cornstarch. And the reason why cornstarch, so I put a little bit of cornstarch with 1 egg white, and it kind of creates this crust around your turkey. And when you go to sear it in a wok or a skillet on a high heat, it gets golden brown, super crispy, gluten-free also. So a little bit of cornstarch and an egg white. And then from there, you combine, of course, soy sauce. If you can find dark soy, it's kind of a little richer, a little saltier, so a little bit goes a long way. So the soy, the cornstarch, and egg white. And then if you can find oyster sauce or hoisin sauce, like an Asian style barbecue sauce, right? And then the black bean sauce. And this will be in your specialty aisle, but black bean sauce with, again, more soy and fermented black bean, real deep umami, rich, salty in a good way flavor, and you whisk that together and marinate the turkey. And then on a high heat, you're going to throw it into your wok, and already you can see, I'm going to get in here. Is this bad?
Ooh,
look at this.
Yes.
It's getting crispy. It's getting golden. And that cornstarch and egg white gives it a real crust around the outside. Then scallions, peppers, onions, all in. And I saved some of the marinade on the side. And because it's got a little bit of the cornstarch, it'll thicken and make a little sauce. So now I can pour some in, and right away you hear it sizzling, and that cornstarch and the reserved sauce will coat the turkey, coat the peppers, and once you cascade it over rice or noodles.
Oh my goodness, Like, this sounds amazing. I mean, the sizzle sounds amazing. I can only imagine how it must smell. Yeah, show it off here.
It smells great, and I gotta show this off. And you're gonna let it reduce for a second. Let the peppers soften and the onions and that cornstarch and the sauce reduce. Now keep in mind, Terry, you know this, I've got 2 little ones. So I've knocked back, I don't have any spice in here, but by all means, pink peppercorns, Szechuan, sriracha. So it's a little bit spicy, a little bit sweet, a little bit tangy.
Yes. Oh, I
It's
can feel
so
my
good.
cheeks are already starting to pucker just by the sounds of all those flavors. Of course, if we want to find this this recipe, it's on the website, right? You mentioned?
Butterball.ca. Check out this recipe. And like I said, it's a blank canvas, whether you're using the thighs, the drums, turkey wings, breast. So many different recipes, so many different genres on butterball.ca.
For any night of the week, not just the holidays.
Yum.
That's why the turkey comes through. Shahir, thanks so much. You came through for us today.
We will talk holidays soon, I'm sure.
I bet we will. We'll have you back again.
Good to see you.
Think Turkey is brought to you by Manitoba Turkey Producers and Butterball. Meal ideas online.
It's beautiful out there, blue sky above, and really nice temperatures. They've started to warm up now. We had dropped as low as -5, but even that is above what you would expect for this time of year, -9 being a seasonal low. Winds this morning, they're out of the west, also very light, just 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 92%. As far as the conditions go today, it's going to stay clear and gorgeous with temperatures on the rise and breeze staying light. We're talking plus-digit temperatures, fistful of degrees above the freezing mark, and then getting even warmer for tomorrow. But while today we're going to spend the day soaking up the sunshine, tomorrow some heavier clouds are going to start to move in. Still, it's going to be even warmer yet, 12 degrees on tap. There may be a brief bit of precipitation passing through in the afternoon when those clouds get a little bit heavier, but then the sunshine comes out for the weekend. So that will be nice to see, especially if you're spending a lot of time outdoors, whether it be Santa Claus Parade or Grey Cup, although Santa Claus Parade, sun will have set. What time is Grey Cup? 5, sun will have set for that too. Anyway, it'll be sunny through the day, so that's nice. And these plus-digit temperatures, they're going to take us right into the middle of next week. We're taking a break, but stick around. We'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we say goodbye, we're going to send you off with some video. The best part of a hike is the view, which depends on who you are.
Take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want to take one
For
look.
this woman, it's the view of her car. She's so relieved and happy to see it after a 3-hour hike. Some others have commented agreeing, saying the best part of a hike is going home. She's like, finally, I'm here.
Right? Especially if you get lost along the way and then you don't even know.
You're thirsty, tired. A one-stranded sea otter pup is now back with its mother in California. After rescuing the otter, they used a Bluetooth speaker to play its recorded cries on repeat in hopes the mother would hear it. She did. And after 2 hours of searching, mom and pup were reunited.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
sweet. You always know your baby's voice. Look at them. Oh my gosh.
goodness.
So sweet. Are you crying?
No.
Well, if you're
crying.
a little blue, Terry, maybe you and your coworkers should do this.
You're gonna be the only one. Do you believe?
It's a literal pick-me-up. These two office buddies sure know how to make each other feel better when one is down. Apparently they offer this to their customers too. That's so fun.
You ready?
Let's do it. See you tomorrow.